Chapter 3981, Soul Eater. Across the entire world, time began to reverse, and the events that had occurred played out before Lin Moyu's eyes. This was a human world. Just 10,000 years ago, it was flourishing, with countless cultivators and people living in peace. But one day, the world's protective formation fluctuated. Someone had broken in. This world clearly had rich combat experience. When faced with a sudden enemy, they didn't panic. Countless experts rushed out, and the Tao Lords attacked the invader. Yet, strangely, in the time reversal, the invader's appearance never appeared. The time Great Tao seemed unable to record their form, their presence was a blank. Not existing within the Great Taos, it really is a Soul Eater. Soul Eaters are rejected by the world, outside the Great Taos, so the time Great Tao cannot record them. In the time reversal, the world's experts were suddenly attacked and began to fall one after another. These attacks also left no trace in the reversal. Lin Moyu couldn't tell what kind of attacks they suffered. But from their expressions, he saw shock, panic, and disbelief. As fellow humans, Lin Moyu could read their faces clearly. They had witnessed something unimaginable. By now, Lin Moyu was 99% certain, it was a Soul Eater. It was the one that had escaped from behind the gate, the one that had caused the human sovereign so much trouble. A Soul Eater with intelligence. It had come to this world and destroyed it. It didn't shatter the world, merely killed its people. More than that, it devoured them. There wasn't a single corpse in the world. Where did the bodies go? Naturally, the Soul Eater consumed them. Some Tao Lords fought to the death, trying to help others escape. But for some reason, the world's other experts couldn't get out. The world itself became a cage. The Tao Lords fought desperately, and in the moment of despair, they gathered the faith of all beings and awakened the world's will. The world will was still in its embryonic stage, but at the brink of extinction, it was forcibly awakened. The masses sacrificed themselves, pushing the world will to its peak form. The world will fought the incomprehensible being and, unsurprisingly, lost. All life perished, and the world was filled with corpses. As the time reversal neared its end, Lin Moyu was shocked by the final scene. Billions of corpses turned to dust and vanished in mere minutes. Killing, devouring, consuming souls. The Soul Eater swallowed all life in a single breath. Lin Moyu mused, it devoured all their souls and bodies. Could this Soul Eater's intelligence have come from this? He'd fought Soul Eaters before and knew they had no intelligence, not even the Soul Eater kings, who mostly acted on instinct. If they could evolve intelligence, they would have done so long ago. Yet this Soul Eater had gained intelligence, likely by devouring so many beings. Or perhaps there was another reason. He couldn't be sure. But with such a Soul Eater roaming the world, many worlds would be doomed. Besides Zulong and himself, probably no one could truly deal with it, not even the Eternals. With a sigh, Lin Moyu summoned the world-burning fire. The fire quickly engulfed the world, beginning the work of refining it. This nameless world had lost all vitality. Even its world will was destroyed. To re-evolve life would take ages. Rather than waste it, Lin Moyu collected it. The world-burning fire burned for 10 days, refining the world into a world crystal. For the Great Thousand World, Desolate Beast Essence, Great Tao Origin Chi, and World Crystals were all valuable, each with different uses. Desolate Beast Essence strengthened the world, Great Tao Origin Chi evolved countless Taos, and World Crystals not only enhanced the world but could quickly help the Great Thousand World generate more internal worlds. The number of living beings within the Great Thousand World was a key measure of its strength. Previously obtained world crystals had all been given to the Great Thousand World, helping it create several internal worlds. Mounting Fire 3, Lin Moyu released a red line, go that way. Although Fire 3 had wandered aimlessly before, Lin Moyu could now judge the general direction from its memories, and cause and effect could guide him more precisely. Any world that once harbored ill will toward him, Lin Moyu would not let pass. This karmic debt needed to be repaid. Fire 3, wreathed in flames, passed through the world mist, and after just a few days, they reached their destination. The mist cleared, revealing another world. It was dead silent. This world too had lost all vitality. The buildings were intact, the Taos were intact, but all life was gone, not even a corpse remained, just like before. The Soul Eater had visited, turning it into a dead land. Undead servants flew out, using time reversal again. Lin Moyu saw the Soul Eater devouring this world's life. Even in the time Great Tao, the Soul Eater's form could not be seen. The world's beings weren't human, but Lin Moyu could still read shock and confusion in their eyes. After all life died, the corpses turned to dust and vanished almost instantly. Life, soul, and body all devoured. A few hundred years ago, the world's strong had hunted Fire 3. Now, they had been annihilated by the Soul Eater. The world-burning fire flew out, refining the world. At the same time, Lin Moyu pondered, the Soul Eater came out with the Lord of Hell. So many years have passed, countless worlds should have been devoured, but clearly that hasn't happened. Why? If many worlds had been destroyed, word would have spread in the soul void, someone like the human sovereign would have heard. So, only a few, insignificant worlds had been destroyed. There was only one reasonable explanation. After devouring a world, the Soul Eater needed time to digest it. That time wouldn't be short, and would depend on the number and strength of the world's beings. This world had been destroyed about 150 years ago. The Soul Eater was likely still nearby, perhaps even hiding here. Lin Moyu's undead eye scanned the world, but the Soul Eater was gone. So where did it go? Looking out, all he saw was world mist. The undead eye couldn't see far. With a thought, Lin Moyu raised his origin aura and stepped into that higher realm. The world mist parted. In that state, Lin Moyu overlooked everything. His gaze stretched far, but still found no trace of the Soul Eater. It had gone far away. His attention shifted. A great Tao Lord was flying toward him at great speed. 3982. 3982. Chapter 3982, The Lord of Life. Within the purple light, Lin Moyu completed another rebirth, his aura settling into calm. A few moments later, a great Tao Lord emerged from the world mist and arrived before Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had seen her from afar, but she hadn't been able to see him through the world mist. This great Tao Lord radiated a gentle light, brimming with vitality. She made no effort to hide her presence, and Lin Moyu immediately recognized that her cultivated Tao was the great Tao of life. Her appearance and expression matched her Tao. She looked about 70% holy, and her gaze was filled with compassion for all beings. Lin Moyu greeted her with a slight bow. Lin Moyu greets fellow Taoist. Since she was human, he used the customary human etiquette. She was slightly surprised, as if puzzled by how Lin Moyu addressed her. As a great Tao Lord, she was used to being shown great respect, but Lin Moyu, who appeared to be just an ordinary Tao Lord, only displayed basic courtesy, not reverence. Still, she was only surprised, not displeased. Shengxin greets Taoist Lin. May I ask, what happened to this world? The world was shrouded in world-burning fire, clearly being refined. Her question was more rhetorical than genuine. Lin Moyu replied, all life in this world is extinct, the world is desolate, so I am refining it. Shengxin frowned slightly. All life here is gone as well. Lin Moyu nodded. It seems you've already seen other worlds like this, Taoist Shengxin. Shengxin replied, I've seen several. I am investigating the matter, but I don't know who could commit such an atrocity. Her words carried a hint of disgust, perhaps due to her status as the Lord of Life, or simply because she was inherently kind, but she clearly abhorred the slaughter of living beings. Shengxin didn't suspect Lin Moyu at all. As an ordinary Tao Lord, he couldn't possibly have such power. Even she herself couldn't wipe out all life in a world without destroying it, let alone leave no corpses behind. Lin Moyu asked, so you haven't found anything in your investigation? When did this start happening? Shengxin replied, I'm not sure exactly when it began. I've been investigating for tens of thousands of years and have found 5 worlds where this happened. Including this one, that makes 6. Lin Moyu's mind stirred. So you've found 5 worlds. I also found a human world with the same fate. Perhaps it's one of your 5. Shengxin asked, which world did you find? Lin Moyu pointed, that way. Don't know its name, but it's very skilled in formations. Shengxin shook her head. That's not one of the 5. So at least 7 worlds had suffered this fate. Lin Moyu's eyes flickered. Could Taoist Shengxin show me the way? I'd like to see those 5 worlds. Shengxin looked at him with some suspicion. Do you want to refine those 5 worlds? Lin Moyu said, that's part of it, but more importantly, I want to use those 5 worlds to deduce the frequency of that being's actions. Shengxin picked up on something. Taoist Lin, do you know who did this? Lin Moyu replied, I have some idea, but, he didn't finish, as if there were things he couldn't say. Shengxin understood. Then let's go see the other worlds. Lin Moyu nodded slightly. No offense, Taoist Shengxin, some things are best seen with one's own eyes. This world wasn't very strong. In just 6 days, it was refined. Shangxin led Lin Moyu to the worlds she had discovered. She was very fast. Fire 3 couldn't keep up, so Lin Moyu summoned the sword Dao Lich, which transformed into a sword to carry him. Shangxin was surprised again, recognizing the sword Dao Lich's extraordinariness, but didn't ask further. In the world mist, the density of worlds was actually higher than Lin Moyu had expected. Previously, he'd flown for decades without encountering a single world, mainly due to the world mist and a bit of luck. Now, with Shangxin guiding the way, they reached a world in just half a month. It was the same dead silence, every living being was gone, not a single survivor. Most buildings were intact, as were the Daos. Shangxin said, "This is one of the 5 worlds. All life is gone, not a single survivor." Her eyes showed a trace of sorrow. As the Lord of Life, she instinctively respected life. With a wave, Lin Moyu sent out masses of undead servants to every corner of the world, initiating time reversal. The scenes of what had happened played out clearly before them, much more vivid than Lin Moyu's own descriptions. Shangxin's eyes lit up. To reverse time across an entire world was not something 1 or 2 Dao Lords could do. Even as a great Dao Lord, she'd have trouble gathering so many helpers. Lin Moyu's methods truly opened her eyes. Shangxin said, "Daoist Lin, your skills are truly impressive. I am in awe." Lin Moyu replied, "Just a small trick. Take a look, and you'll understand what happened. Time froze at 90,000 years ago. A soul eater appeared in this world, and the same disaster as in the previous 2 worlds unfolded." Shangxin watched the shock and despair of the world's beings as they were killed in countless bizarre ways, their souls devoured. In the end, all life was gone, not even corpses remained. Everything was so strange. There was no massive destruction during the fighting. Even the weakest beings died in the strangest ways, almost all at the same time. Shangxin watched, and as a great Dao Lord, she understood much. She bit her lip and said, "Not within the great Dao." Lin Moyu nodded. "Exactly. That being is outside the great Dao, so any attack within the great Dao is useless against it." In other words, even a great Dao Lord like Shangxin couldn't deal with it. Shangxin understood, and whispered, "So there's no way to deal with it? What is that thing?" Lin Moyu summoned the world-burning fire to refine the world and said, "These worlds are useful to me. Could Taoist Shangxin take me to the others? I also want to estimate how fast that being can digest. After devouring so many lives, it must need time to digest." By comparing several worlds, he could estimate the speed. The previous world was destroyed 100,000 years ago, this one, 90,000 years ago, a 10,000-year interval, but more samples were needed. Shangxin saw that Lin Moyu didn't answer her directly and realized she hadn't done enough. "The other worlds are dead too. If it helps you, they shouldn't go to waste. Don't worry, Taoist Lin will visit all those worlds." This was a promise. Lin Moyu said, "That being came from behind a gate, is immune to all great Dao attacks, can read memories, and can transform into the loved ones in every being's memory. Only great Dao origin power can deal with it." "That gate," Shangxin suddenly exclaimed. 3983, 3983. Chapter 3983, The Soul Eater's Trail. Lin Moyu shared some information about soul eaters with Shangxin, but he didn't mention that soul eaters came from beyond the heavens. Such a truth would be hard for even a great Dao Lord to accept. Instead, he simply said they came from behind the gate. That gate was no secret, many had obtained it, and traces of it were left among top-tier powerhouses. As expected, when Lin Moyu mentioned the gate, Shangxin exclaimed in surprise. Suppressing her shock, Shangxin said, "So it really is something that came from behind that gate. No wonder it's so terrifying." Lin Moyu asked, "So Shangxin Taoist also knows about that gate?" Shangxin nodded. "I've heard of it. That gate is extremely strange. The eternal human sovereign once obtained it, and I've heard that besides the human sovereign, quite a few others have as well. Back then, it was said the human sovereign was injured inside that gate." Lin Moyu replied, "You're right, he was injured by that very creature." Shangxin's frown deepened. If even the human sovereign can't handle that thing, who in all the world could? Lin Moyu said, "It's definitely hard to deal with. Great Dao power is useless, but some things work like the essence of ancestral water." Essence of ancestral water? Shangxin was surprised. With a flip of her jade hand, she produced a drop of essence of ancestral water. "Taoist, is this what you mean?" Lin Moyu also took out his own. "Yes, that's it. I didn't expect you to have some as well. Where did you get it?" Shangxin explained, Every 100,000 years, the origin ancestral land sends down a rain of blessings. In that rain, there's ancestral water and essence of ancestral water. That's where I got mine. Lin Moyu said, the essence of ancestral water contains the most fundamental power of the great Tao. If you detonate it, you can repel that creature. But I think it can only drive it off or wound it, not kill it. If you encounter that thing, it's best to turn and run. If you can't escape, detonate the essence of ancestral water to drive it back, then keep fleeing. Even as the Lord of Life, Shangxin couldn't hope to kill a soul eater. Not even Eternals could. It would only be a temporary measure. Lin Moyu's world extinguishing palm could only scatter it, and it still needed to be refined by the world-burning fire. Shangxin pondered Lin Moyu's words. So the essence of ancestral water is only a temporary solution. Is there really no way to deal with it? Lin Moyu said, there should be a way, but I haven't personally encountered it yet, so I can't say for sure. Shangxin's eyes brightened. Taoist Lin, do you have a way to kill it? She looked at him expectantly. Lin Moyu replied, it's hard to say. That thing is extremely difficult to kill. I can only try, assuming I can find it. If I can't, it's all just talk. Because it exists outside the great Tao, the Tao of causality can't be used to track it. The world is vast. Finding it would be like searching for a needle in a haystack. There might be a way, though, since the creature is searching for the gate, perhaps Lin Moyu could use the gate to lure it in. But for now, he didn't want to confront the Soul Eater. His priority was to shed his shell and counterattack the Origin Continent's world will. Before gaining his freedom, he couldn't afford to make such a dangerous enemy. A few days later, after refining another world, Shangxin led Lin Moyu to the next one. She was visibly worried, her bright, holy face clouded with concern. The next world was a human world, now dead and silent. Using time reversal, Lin Moyu found it had been destroyed 83,000 years ago, a 7,000-year gap. The people died in shock and terror, just like before. As Lin Moyu refined the world, Shangxin seemed lost in thought, not saying much. The third world had been destroyed 70,000 years ago, a gap of 13,000 years. By now, Lin Moyu had a rough estimate of the pattern. Next, Shangxin brought him to the fourth world, which was annihilated 60,000 years ago. The fifth world suffered extinction 45,000 years ago. This last world was especially powerful, with a population greater than 4 or 5 average worlds combined. There were nearly 1,000 Tao Lords and even 10 Lotus Lords. Yet even so, they couldn't escape the Soul Eater's slaughter. Lin Moyu did not refine this fifth world. Here, he sensed the same aura as Shangxin. It was her world. He said, this world still has hope, so I won't refine it. Shangxin's eyes were tinged with sadness. Thank you. I happened to be away at the time, otherwise I might have perished too. Lin Moyu didn't want to mislead her. Any great Tao Lord who encountered the Soul Eater, unless they escaped immediately, would almost certainly die. Shangxin had been the Lord of Life for countless years and had left little legacy in her world. Few friends or family remained. The loss of life made her more angry than sad. At her level, many things had already been let go. After a few moments of silence, Lin Moyu comforted her. Look on the bright side, given time, this world can recover. Shangxin sighed. Taoist Lin, have you found a pattern? Lin Moyu nodded. I've mostly figured it out. The first world I found was destroyed about 100,000 years ago, an average-sized world. The second, the first you showed me, was destroyed 90,000 years ago, 10,000 years later. That world was weaker, with fewer beings and Tao Lords. The third world was destroyed 83,000 years ago, a 7,000-year gap. The shorter gap was because the previous world was weak and had fewer beings, so it was digested faster. The fourth world was destroyed 70,000 years ago. The third had more beings, so it took longer to digest. The next world was destroyed 60,000 years ago, also with many beings, so it took 15,000 years to digest before it struck again at your world, Shangxin. Given the number and strength of beings in your world, it should take 40,000 to 50,000 years to fully digest, so it only acted again 100 years ago. That last world wasn't strong after feasting, it must be hiding to digest, which should take another 6,000 to 7,000 years. Shangxin listened and found Lin Moyu's reasoning convincing. So, it's destroyed 7 worlds. Lin Moyu shook his head. That's just in the last 100,000 years. It's been out for at least several million, maybe 10 million years. Shangxin's expression changed. You mean it's destroyed hundreds of worlds? Lin Moyu shook his head. Not that many. I don't think it started destroying worlds immediately after escaping. Otherwise, word would have spread. I recently met the human sovereign, and he never mentioned this, so it must have only started recently. 3984. 3984. Chapter 3984, Trouble Ahead. Lin Moyu sincerely advised Shengxin, Taoist Shengxin, you may be deeply pained, but I must urge you don't go looking for him again. Shengxin was silent for a moment before replying, although I'm no match for him, it doesn't feel right to just let him be. If I contact several other great Tao lords, or even some eternal beings. Lin Moyu shook his head. It's useless. No matter how many great Tao lords you gather, it won't make a difference against him. Besides, no one knows where he's hiding right now. He won't appear for at least a few thousand years. Once I've finished my own affairs, I'll go after him. I might have a slightly better chance. He continued, instead of worrying, you should focus on restoring your world. Although all life here is gone, as the Lord of Life, with your nurturing, the world will recover quickly. Shengxin thought it over and realized she was indeed powerless. In the end, she chose to trust Lin Moyu. Then I can only place my hopes in you, Taoist Lin. Lin Moyu assured her, I'll do my best. Shengxin handed Lin Moyu a great Tao crystal brimming with life force. If you ever need me, just call. Lin Moyu accepted it without hesitation. Then I'll take my leave. Take care, Taoist Lin. After parting with Shengxin, Lin Moyu summoned Fire 3 and, guided by his sense of his birthplace, set off for the origin continent. Throughout, Lin Moyu never told Shengxin that the creature was called a soul eater. Whether he said it or not didn't matter. What was important was that Shengxin understood how terrifying it was. At her level, she shouldn't normally encounter a soul eater, and that was enough. If she insisted on seeking it out, she'd be courting death, and there was nothing he could do to stop her. The Lord of Hell had mentioned that the soul eater was also searching for the gate, seemingly wanting to return. What exactly was inside the gate, that after escaping, it would want to go back? If Lin Moyu brought out the gate, would it attract the soul eater? Although the soul eater was troublesome, Lin Moyu felt it was necessary to kill it. If it kept devouring worlds, it might one day target the origin continent, which would be disastrous. Besides, Lin Moyu sensed that if he could eliminate the soul eater, he might gain the world's recognition and obtain its fortune. He vaguely felt that earning the world's recognition would be very beneficial for him. After all, his immortality great Tao was still in the return to origin land, at the very core of this world, and inseparable from it. Even though he walked his own unique path and sought to transcend this world, the matter of the immortality great Tao was still unresolved. At least until then, he couldn't afford to have a bad relationship with the world. In his soul world, the seventh halo was slowly lighting up, changing a little every day. In a few years, it would be complete. The 8th and 9th halos would take even longer. Those would be a true grind. Calculating his remaining great Tao origin chi, he realized he might not have enough at the current rate of consumption. The Great Thousand World was growing rapidly, absorbing desolate beast essence faster and faster, and its great Tao power was strengthening. To some extent, this could substitute for great Tao origin chi. Once the origin chi ran out, he'd either have to make another trip to the Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain or settle for a slow grind. Let's hope I'm not disappointed. Lin Moyu clenched his fist and muttered to himself. 10 years passed in a flash, and the 7th halo finally lit up. 7 radiant halos illuminated the gate, and countless engraved patterns appeared on its surface, something that hadn't happened before. These carvings only emerged after the 7th halo was lit. Lin Moyu noticed that the style of these patterns was similar to the reliefs on the Ferry of Calamity. The content was different, but the style seemed to come from the same hand. For some reason, the patterns felt familiar. He'd had this feeling before on the Ferry of Calamity, but had been distracted and didn't look closely. After studying them for a while, he found no specific meaning. They seemed to be purely decorative. Once the patterns lit up, the gate began to emit an indescribably noble aura. This aura quickly spread throughout his soul world, even affecting the Great Thousand World and the Science Tao world. Fortunately, it didn't leak into the real world, or he'd become a beacon and surely attract attention. Hopefully I can open the gate within my soul world, Lin Moyu murmured, though he doubted it. If he had to open it in the real world, it would definitely draw a lot of attention, and he'd have to be ready. He shifted his focus to the 8th halo. Compared to the 10 years it took for the 7th, the 8th was 10 times slower, about 100 years to light up. Still, that was within his expectations. His plan was to open the gate in about 1,000 years, leaving him 2 or 3,000 years of buffer, plenty of time for anything. Now he'd done all he could, the rest was up to luck. 20 years later, he returned to the origin continent. The entire continent was wrapped in a massive formation, strong enough to withstand a joint attack by over a dozen Dao Lords. There weren't many worlds capable of fielding so many Dao Lords at once. This formation was crafted by the world-sealing Dao Lord, taking nearly 1,000 years to complete. To outsiders, it was already incredibly strong, but to Lin Moyu, it was lacking. He had several ways to break it, or even seize control. This is the world-sealing Dao Lord's destiny. Now that his mission is complete, it's time for the formation to change hands, Lin Moyu thought. Countless divine runes flew out, embedding themselves throughout the formation, altering its structure. In no time, the formation's true master became Lin Moyu. If the world-sealing Dao Lord returned, he could still use the formation, but Lin Moyu could revoke that right at any time. Lin Moyu entered the formation, officially returning to the origin continent. With his gaze, he could see all the worlds outside the Great Dao. In a few hundred years, the Dragon Clan's Dao had stabilized, and Antares had become the new Dragon God. The Dragon Clan had recovered well. The Hell Alliance had been completely wiped out, with no resurgence. Everything seemed peaceful, everyone was cultivating as usual. But when Lin Moyu looked at the origin continent, he frowned. He saw gray energy spreading across the land, mainly in the Dragon Clan's territory, but also elsewhere. There's trouble in the Dragon Tomb. He recalled that the ancestral dragon had once told him to keep an eye on the Dragon Tomb, but after leaving the origin continent, he hadn't been able to. Now, something had happened after all. Lin Moyu sent a message to Antares, "I'm back." Antares, who had been dozing, snapped awake. "You're finally back, there's trouble." 3985, 3985. Chapter 3985, The Center of the Origin Continent. As soon as Antares finished speaking, Lin Moyu appeared before him. "Something happened in the Dragon Tomb, right?" Antares nodded. "Yes, the curse in the Dragon Tomb has started leaking out." "Tell me exactly what happened." Lin Moyu already saw that curses were spreading in many areas across the origin continent. For now, it was only in small patches, but there were many such spots. The most affected place was still the Dragon Tomb, which was the source. He also hadn't seen Long Wei, and guessed she must have entered the Dragon Tomb, as the Dragon Clan leader should be present in such a crisis. Long Sheng was also missing, likely for the same reason. Antares explained, "I don't know the details. Our dragons from the heavenly Dao outside can't enter the Dragon Tomb. The ancestral dragon personally sealed it and placed a bloodline restriction." Lin Moyu gave him a look. "You're the Dragon God now, you've inherited the Dragon God tree and the Dragon God crown. Can't you undo the bloodline restriction?" Antares snorted, "You don't understand. Bloodline restrictions aren't that easy to break. I've only inherited this position for a few years. If you gave me a few thousand more, I could definitely break this damn restriction." "Useless." Lin Moyu snorted. Antares was furious. "Who are you calling useless?" Lin Moyu replied flatly, "Whoever responds." Antares let out a roar, and the dragon's roar echoed along the entire Dao. All the dragons on the Dao were terrified, instantly prostrating themselves and shouting in unison, "Dragon God, please calm your anger." None of them even knew what they'd done wrong, but that didn't matter. What mattered was getting down on the ground as fast as possible. No one ever got in trouble for that. Lin Moyu glanced around and said, "That's quite the dragon might. Being Dragon God really is different now." Antares snorted, "Glad you know. Fine, I'll forgive you this time. Now go fix the Dragon Tomb problem so you don't disturb my rest." Lin Moyu replied, "I don't do things for free." Antares said, "What do you want? Should I find you a few female dragons to serve you? Keep them for yourself. Even dragon gods need to take care of their health, don't overdo it." "Get lost. Even if I slept with 3,000 female dragons, I wouldn't be tired." The two bantered harmlessly, and Lin Moyu returned to the origin continent. He didn't rush to the Dragon Clan immediately. The Dragon Tomb issue wasn't urgent, and at the current rate of curse spread, there wouldn't be any real problems for decades. Lin Moyu silently appeared in Yudao City. The city's streets were bustling, but no one noticed the sudden appearance of another person. Everyone treated Lin Moyu as if he were rare. If he didn't want to be seen, no one would notice him. Now, Yudao City had clearly become the center of the origin continent. The continent's fortune was constantly flowing toward it, and after several centuries of development, Yudao City had become the largest city. The human sovereign of the great world, once known as Shao Zontian, was no longer around, and the city was managed by Hao Daozan and the others. With their experience managing the great world, Hao Daozan ran Yudao City with ease. While managing the city, they also kept up their cultivation. With fortune gathering, Lin Moyu had used his authority to channel origin spirit veins into Yudao City, making cultivation there twice as effective. The city was not only the center but also a holy land for cultivation. Although there were no true powerhouses stationed there, Lin Moyu's lingering prestige meant no one dared cause trouble. Even the various powers from the heavenly Tao outside became well behaved as soon as they entered the city. After all, this was the domain of someone who had wiped out the Hell Alliance and killed Tao lords as easily as slaughtering dogs. No one dared provoke him. Everyone also knew that Yudao City housed two terrifying formations, each capable of killing a Tao lord if activated. After taking in the changes in Yudao City, Lin Moyu stepped into his small courtyard. No matter how high his status, he and his close ones still preferred to live in this little courtyard. Master! Little Mist's nose twitched, and she excitedly called out, instantly leaping onto Lin Moyu and clinging tightly. After hundreds of years apart, she refused to let go. Little one, I missed you so much. Little Mist was on the verge of tears, overcome with emotion. Lin Moyu patted her back. You're a Tao Venerable 9th realm now, and you're still crying. Teacher, father, Little Mei, Little Wu, and Little Yu all ran over, eyes brimming with tears but faces beaming with joy. Lin Moyu smiled, not bad, none of you have neglected your cultivation. Little Wu and Little Mist had reached Tao Venerable 9th realm, while Little Mei and Little Yu were at Tao Venerable 8th realm. Lin Moyu had prepared many opportunities for them, with endless golden tree sap and all sorts of treasures, so it was no surprise they'd advanced so quickly in just a few centuries. After crying for a while, Little Mist finally calmed down and whispered, Master, how long can you stay this time? Lin Moyu replied, once I've dealt with the dragon tomb, I should be able to stay for about 1,000 years. Little Mist cheered, 1,000 years, that's wonderful. Lin Moyu was always coming and going, and in their eyes, he was the busiest person. Being able to stay for 1,000 years was a huge surprise. Suddenly, Little Mist asked, wait, you're going to the dragon tomb, how long will that take? Not 999 years, right? Lin Moyu laughed, it shouldn't take that long. At best, a few days, at worst, a year. It should be fine. Only then did Little Mist relax, and so did the others. They all loved being with Lin Moyu. As long as he was there, they felt at ease. To them, Lin Moyu was both teacher and father. There was no one better in the world. After some small talk, Lin Moyu took out 4 bottles and gave one to each of them. The bottles contained powder refined from soul eaters. Lin Moyu said, absorb a fingernail-sized amount of this powder every day and work hard to refine it. Your cultivation will skyrocket, and you'll reach the great Tao realm in no time. Little Wu took a bottle, surprised. What is this powder? It's so amazing. Lin Moyu smiled, don't worry about it, just use it. Even in this 1,000 years, you can't slack off. Everyone except Little Mist patted their chests and promised not to slack. Cultivating to the great Tao realm could be hard or easy. If you could strengthen your soul, you could progress quickly, otherwise, it just took time. The Soul Eater powder was even more effective than Lin Moyu suggested. Perhaps by the time he returned from the dragon tomb, they'd all be in the great Tao realm. After chatting a bit more, Lin Moyu went to find Hao Daozan and the others. They were also excited to see him, but being older, they were more reserved than the younger ones. Lin Moyu treated everyone equally and gave each of them a bottle of Soul Eater powder to help them reach the great Tao realm smoothly. 3986. 3986. Chapter 3986. With Elder Lin here, there is hope. Lin Moyu never shortchanges his own people. In the coming days, Hao Daozan and the others would rapidly advance in cultivation. Only Lin Moyu truly understood how effective the powder refined from soul eaters was. Even his own soul realm could be quickly enhanced by it, let alone Hao Daozan and the rest. If he hadn't held back, he might have already stepped into another realm and never returned. In that case, who knew what would happen to his true spirit imprint? There was no way to predict. Lin Moyu had considered, if his plan failed, he'd take this path, transcending the world and gambling on his fate. But that was only a last resort, since he still had many attachments on the origin continent. After catching up with Hao Daozhen and the others, Lin Moyu left Yudao City and headed to the Dragon Clan on the origin continent. Returning to the Dragon Clan, Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh. The once mighty Dragon Clan of the origin continent was a shadow of its former self. The Dragon Clan was unique, the first lifeform born from the yin-yang origin of this era. Born enemies with the Insect Clan, also born from the yin-yang origin, the two sides were fated to oppose each other. Yet, influenced by the world's will, they would never truly destroy one another. In the past, the Dragon Clan bore many responsibilities, even overseeing the Boundary Sea Wars, and, at one point, the ancestral dragon managed the Outer Great Tao. But over time, their power waned. By the time of the Lord of Hell, the strongest in the origin continent changed hands, and the Lord of Hell became the master. The Lord of Hell even tried to kill the ancestral dragon, forcing him to flee beyond the world. When he returned, the ancestral dragon abandoned the Dragon Clan and set a bloodline restriction, preventing dragons of the Outer Great Tao from entering the Dragon Tomb. The ancestral dragon himself entered the Dragon Tomb, bringing his curse with him. The dragons of the origin continent knew nothing of this and continued their offerings until the curse finally erupted. Lin Moyu never understood why the ancestral dragon did this. They were all his children, why protect one and not the other? There were indeed mixed blood dragons in the origin continent, but there were pure bloods too. It was strange. At the heart of the Dragon Clan, Lin Moyu saw the once mighty dragons now drained of energy. The curse had greatly weakened them, and this was only the first stage. Soon, they would be invaded by the curse, mutating. Their lost strength would return even stronger, but by then, their minds would be overtaken by the curse. They would no longer be the dragons they once were. Lin Moyu exuded dragon aura, but none of the dragons noticed him. This showed how far the Dragon Clan had fallen. Even basic guards were gone. Only when he entered the hall leading to the Dragon Tomb did the dragon elders notice him. Elder Lin, a familiar voice. Lin Moyu saw Ao Luo, the Dragon Clan elder. Now, Ao Luo was a shadow of his former self, his strength less than a tenth of its peak. On seeing Lin Moyu, hope lit up in Ao Luo's eyes, as if seeing salvation. After all, Lin Moyu's past deeds were legendary. Ao Luo hurried over. Elder Lin, please save our clan. Lin Moyu replied, I'm here at the Dragon God's request to resolve the Dragon Tomb issue. Don't worry, Elder Ao Luo, I have a plan. Hearing this, Ao Luo felt instantly relieved, as if a weight had been lifted. Lin Moyu was synonymous with miracles. If he said it could be done, it would be done. Lin Moyu continued, Clan leader Long Wei and Elder Long Sheng both entered the Dragon Tomb, right? Ao Luo answered, Clan leader Long Wei entered the tomb, but Elder Long Sheng, he was the first to enter, but later disappeared. I see, Lin Moyu replied. I'll go in and take a look. He glanced at the passage between the hall and the Dragon Tomb. When the curse first appeared, the Dragon Clan would have closed the passage immediately, cutting off the curse's path. But a force from within the tomb kept the passage open. Lin Moyu drew several divine runes to further reinforce the passage. This way, even after resolving the curse, the passage would remain intact. With the passage secured, Lin Moyu entered. A brief teleportation later, a strange aura washed over him. It really is the aura of a great Tao desolate beast. Lin Moyu had fought countless times with great Tao desolate beasts. He'd never seen their bodies, but their aura was all too familiar. The ancestral dragon had been tainted by the filth of a great Tao desolate beast and brought it back to the Dragon Tomb, where it became a curse. Over time, this curse mutated, causing the dragon corpses in the tomb to change. Lin Moyu understood most of the process at a glance, but one thing still puzzled him: why did the ancestral dragon do this? He could have stayed away from the tomb and the clan, or sought help from the world's will. There were options. Coming to the tomb was the worst choice. Following the aura, Lin Moyu advanced rapidly. Soon, he heard dragon roars and saw a fierce battle. Long Wei, with dozens of divine dragons, was fighting a horde of mutated dragon corpses. Two very different dragon auras clashed in the tomb. To Lin Moyu, this level of fighting was child's play. But to those involved, it was a battle of life and death. The mutated dragon corpses feared nothing and radiated curse power, making Long Wei and the others hesitant. Lin Moyu strolled over and called out, Clan leader Long Wei, you juniors are so unfilial, desecrating your ancestors' bodies. Long Wei was delighted to hear his voice. Elder Lin, help us. Lin Moyu grinned, you're not going to accuse me of destroying corpses, are you? Long Wei laughed despite herself. Now's not the time for jokes, Elder Lin just killed them already. Lin Moyu chuckled, they're already dead, they're not living beings anymore. With a casual wave, the power of death swept out, instantly corroding dozens of mutated dragon corpses and their curses. The power of death from the immortality Great Tao could corrode all things, representing extinction and finality. Lin Moyu even felt that, if he became strong enough, even soul eaters immune to all Taos could be corroded by the power of death. Soul eaters might be immune to the world's Taos, but not necessarily to death itself. The immortality Great Tao was a unique existence in the world, unlike any other Tao. With a wave, all the dragon corpses were destroyed and the battle ended. Long Wei and the elders breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, Elder Lin. The elders all expressed their gratitude. Lin Moyu approached Long Wei. Clan leader Long Wei, tell me exactly what's going on here. 3987, 3987. Chapter 3987, not impressed. Long Wei immediately recounted everything that had happened in the Dragon Tomb. The mutation in the Dragon Tomb began 50 years ago, when the tomb suddenly opened its passage, directly connecting to the Dragon Clan's main hall. The power of the curse surged out from the Dragon Tomb, spreading into the main hall and then outward. The Dragon Clan responded quickly, trying to stop it and reporting to the dragons of the outer Great Tao. However, due to the bloodline restriction, those dragons could not enter the Dragon Tomb. As the strongest among the Origin Continent dragons, Long Sheng naturally had to enter the tomb to investigate. Ever since Lin Moyu's last visit, the Dragon Clan had been fighting mutated beings in the tomb for years, and most had been cleared out. This new outbreak, however, was sudden. After Long Sheng entered, he disappeared and never returned. Meanwhile, the curse leaking from the tomb only increased, beginning to affect the Origin Continent. Unable to wait any longer, Long Wei led the clan elders into the tomb. Inside, they were ambushed by mutated dragon corpses, leading to countless battles. At first, they fought deep within the tomb, but as the mutated corpses grew stronger, they were forced to retreat, now only 1,000 miles from the tomb's entrance. If they retreated further, they feared the mutated corpses would escape. Lin Moyu asked, with your cultivation, clan leader Long Wei, you shouldn't be able to see the curse power, right? Long Wei nodded. That's true, but I can sense it. Actually, it was the dragon god who told us about the curse. He can see it. Antares, now a Tao Lord, could indeed see the curse, but unfortunately, he was powerless to enter. Lin Moyu pondered, by rights, only dragons below the Great Tao Realm are buried in the Dragon Tomb, but I can sense that there are now Great Tao Realm auras in the tomb, and not just a few. Great Tao Realm dragons don't have to worry about lifespan, so only those who failed to reach that level would be buried in the tomb. Few Great Tao Realm dragons would ever enter. The largest dragon die-off happened during the Origin catastrophe, but the tomb was sealed at that time, so they couldn't enter. The strongest being ever buried in the tomb was the ancestral dragon's body, and the curse originated from it. Long Wei added, I only learned this time that the Dragon Tomb is divided into inner and outer sections. We've only ever entered the outer tomb, we've never been inside the inner tomb. We don't know what's in there. From Long Wei's account, Lin Moyu realized he'd have to see for himself. He said, all right, I'll handle this. Clan leader Long Wei, you and the elders should return and rest. Long Wei suggested, shouldn't we guard the entrance, in case mutated dragon corpses escape? Lin Moyu replied, my people will guard it. You don't need to worry. 10 undead servants appeared, each exuding a Tao Lord's pressure, making Long Wei and the others feel suffocated. Knowing Lin Moyu's methods, Long Wei realized her presence was unnecessary, and as she and the elders were all injured, rest was needed. She didn't argue. In that case, we'll leave it to you, Elder Lin. No problem, Lin Moyu said, waving them off as he strode into the depths of the tomb, vanishing in an instant. Given the current state of the tomb, with 10 undead servants guarding the entrance, not a single mutated dragon corpse would escape. Arriving again at the dragon blood pool, Lin Moyu found it much changed from his last visit. The dragon blood waterfall still flowed, but now it was blood, thick with a stench and curse power. The entire pool had become a cursed blood pool, filthy and foul. Many mutated dragon corpses soaked in the pool, their auras growing stronger. Looks like all of Long Sheng's efforts over the years were useless, Lin Moyu muttered. With a wave, the power of death swept out like a storm. Wherever it passed, dragon corpses were corroded to nothing, not even dust remaining. Even the dragon blood pool was destroyed, and all things tainted by the curse were obliterated. With his current strength, these things none even at the Great Tao realm were insignificant, easily wiped out. The death-laden wind swept across the dragon blood waterfall, and the centuries-old flow stopped, the curse power annihilated. The pool vanished, and the storm of death swept through half the tomb. Undead servants emerged from the death energy, flying in all directions as Lin Moyu set out to explore the entire tomb and see what the ancestral dragon was up to. Truthfully, Lin Moyu had little regard for the ancestral dragon. He had seen higher, more dangerous levels. No matter what the ancestral dragon did, he was no match for those. As the first being born of the yin-yang origin, the ancestral dragon was still bound by it in the origin continent. His greatest achievement would always be as the ancestral dragon. The undead soon mapped the entire tomb, which was vast, comparable to a medium-sized world. There were 10 dragon graveyards, each far apart. Long Sheng had never mentioned so many, clearly, even he didn't know about them all. His so-called cleanup of mutated corpses was incomplete. Half were left undiscovered, which led to the current crisis. Lin Moyu didn't hesitate. Whenever he found a graveyard, he cleansed it. The power of death enveloped each one, reducing them to dust in moments. In just 2 days, no dragon graveyards remained. The undead had explored every corner, mapping the tomb in detail, but found no entrance to the inner tomb. Lin Moyu could vaguely sense a great Tao realm aura deep within. If it's nowhere else, it must be here. He looked at the ruined dragon blood pool, focusing on where the waterfall once was. The so-called dragon blood waterfall was the blood of the ancestral dragon. As the Tao Lord of the Yang Dragon Great Tao, even a drop of his blood could flow as a waterfall for millions of years. The source of the waterfall was the ancestral dragon's body buried in the inner tomb. Lin Moyu looked up at the sky above the former waterfall. Sure enough, the entrance to the inner tomb is up there. A formation hovered in the sky, forming a small passage. Its aura was faint and weak, so Lin Moyu hadn't noticed it before. The ancestral dragon's blood once flowed through this formation, creating the waterfall. With a thought, Lin Moyu sent several divine runes into the formation, activating it and instantly expanding the passage. Whoosh! A torrent of ancestral dragon blood, infused with powerful ancestral curse, poured down. A gale of death energy surged upward, corroding all the blood and curse before it could touch Lin Moyu. The wind reversed the waterfall, and Lin Moyu followed it into the passage, entering the inner tomb of the dragon tomb. 3988. 3988. Chapter 3988, Hiding in the Flowers. The curse power in the inner dragon tomb was even denser. Just from this, Lin Moyu could judge that the ancestral dragon's body was located here. Undead servants scattered, and the power of death swept out in a raging gale in all directions. But Lin Moyu was more cautious in the inner tomb, since Long Sheng was also inside. Before figuring things out, he didn't want to accidentally kill Long Sheng. Now that Long Sheng had reached the Great Tao realm, he wasn't entirely defenseless. After decades, there was a good chance he was still alive. The undead servants, leading with the power of death, swept through, obliterating everything in their path. Under the force of death, the tomb was being purified, and the curse power rapidly receded. Soon, the undead encountered the first inner tomb graveyard. Mutated dragon corpses awoke, unleashing thunderous roars. Great Tao realm auras erupted. These dragon corpses were far stronger than those in the outer tomb. Their baseline was the Great Tao realm. However, Lin Moyu sensed something odd. These so-called Great Tao realm corpses weren't true Great Tao cultivators. Their aura and power matched the realm, but it was as if some external force had forcibly raised them to this level, not their own cultivation. Lin Moyu recalled that when he destroyed the ancestral dragon's remnant soul years ago, the ancestral dragon had asked him to come check the dragon tomb. It seemed the ancestral dragon had foreseen this mutation. Yet, after so many years since the origin catastrophe, these corpses had only just reached the Great Tao realm. Such slow progress was almost laughable. Feeling a bit contemptuous, Lin Moyu let his undead servants act. They shattered the graveyard, sweeping through with death energy, reducing everything to dust in an instant. Roar! A furious roar echoed from the depths of the tomb, thunder rolling, and dragon aura rained down like a storm. The dragon aura in the tomb turned to mist, surging with terrifying power. The ancestral dragon's body, Lin Moyu murmured. Only the ancestral dragon could achieve this. But with the soul dead and the body mutated, it was only a form of survival. Without a soul, the ancestral dragon had long lost his young dragon Tao Lord status. He wasn't even the ancestral dragon anymore, just a powerful mutated dragon corpse. With a wave, Lin Moyu sent out the power of death, dispersing all the incoming dragon aura. The distant dragon aura turned into thick mist, resembling the world mist. Lin Moyu was unimpressed, such tricks were beneath him. The ancestral dragon had once been despised by the Lord of Hell for his cowardice, and Lin Moyu now looked down on him as well. He walked toward the source of the roar, the dragon aura parting before him. The undead continued exploring, clearing any graveyard they found, leaving nothing behind. Walking through the dragon aura for 10,000 miles, Lin Moyu saw a towering mountain, over 1,000,000 meters high, piercing the clouds. So this is the ancestral dragon mountain in the tomb, he thought. Legend says the dragon tomb contains ancestral dragon mountain, the root and origin of the dragon race. Looks like the rumors were true. In his vision, ancestral dragon mountain was split in two, half yang, half yin, containing the power of yin-yang origin, the very place where the ancestral dragon was born. Knowing he was doomed, the ancestral dragon had returned here before death, hoping to use the yin-yang origin to suppress the curse. But it didn't work, his soul escaped, leaving his body behind. After countless years of curse corruption, mutation finally occurred and spread throughout the tomb. Lin Moyu had a good grasp of the sequence of events. Looks like the ancestral dragon did try, maybe I blamed him wrongly. Unfortunately, he chose the wrong method. If he'd asked the World Will for help from the start, maybe there'd have been a chance. But even that would have been slim. The curse of a great Tao desolate beast was notoriously hard to remove, even the Lord of Curses could only grind it down over time. The ancestral dragon's curse wasn't as deep, since he'd only encountered an ordinary desolate beast, not the desolate beast emperor as the Lord of Curses had. The ancestral dragon's roar pointed Lin Moyu in the right direction. In a flash, he crossed 10,000 miles to the foot of ancestral dragon mountain. Seeing the pervasive curse power, Lin Moyu shook his head. The originally pure yin-yang origin of the mountain had been forced into a corner, the rest dominated by curse power. Great Tao desolate beasts were the filthiest beings in existence, and their curses were a nightmare for cultivators. Atop ancestral dragon mountain coiled a colossal dragon, 1,000,000 meters long. The ancestral dragon. His body was incomparably powerful, the strongest among all Tao lords, a natural advantage of the dragon race. Two giant eyes fixed on Lin Moyu, filled with violence, but he didn't attack immediately. He actually has intelligence. Lin Moyu was surprised. The mutated ancestral dragon's body had developed intelligence, a rare occurrence, only likely if a fragment of the original soul remained. No, that's not right. Lin Moyu immediately rejected the thought. It wasn't that the body had evolved intelligence, but something else. He saw a trace of complexity and familiarity in the dragon's eyes. "You're Long Sheng," Lin Moyu exclaimed. He realized the ancestral dragon's body was now occupied by Long Sheng. "Elder Lin," came the deep, rough voice. Though it was the ancestral dragon's voice, the tone was unmistakably Long Sheng's. "What happened?" Lin Moyu asked quietly. With a pleading tone, Long Sheng said, "Elder Lin, kill me. Tell me what happened first. Whether I kill you is my decision, not yours," Lin Moyu replied. The ancestral dragon's body trembled. "Elder Lin, please, I can't hold on much longer." "Can't hold on? That's easy to fix." Several undead servants attacked together, but the ancestral dragon's body shone and resisted all their attacks. His defense was too strong. Long Sheng trembled even more, clearly losing control. "Impressive defense." Lin Moyu grinned, unconcerned. He summoned a statue of an outer world deity, whose power surpassed the undead servants and was on par with a great Tao being. After a round of attacks, the ancestral dragon's body was battered and lay weakly atop the mountain. Feeling better now, with the body heavily injured, Long Sheng regained some control. "I came here and was eaten by the mutated ancestral dragon, but I ended up taking over his body. The curse is invading my soul. I'm barely holding on, but I can't last much longer." "Why not abandon the body and let your soul escape?" Lin Moyu asked. "I wanted to, but the curse has trapped my soul. I can't get out." "Can you open a soul passage?" Lin Moyu asked. "I'll try." Trusting Lin Moyu, Long Sheng struggled to open a soul passage. At last, a small passage appeared, and Lin Moyu tossed several spirit flowers into it. "Hide in the flowers. Leave the rest to me." 3989, 3989. Chapter 3989, Blessing in Disguise. Long Sheng hid within the spirit flowers. Not only did the flowers allow his soul to recover, but they also provided a degree of protection against the corruption of the curse. Even some of the curse that had previously afflicted Long Sheng could be cleansed in the process. With Long Sheng's soul no longer influencing it, the curse regained control of the ancestral dragon's body. The body trembled and let out a roar, raising its claws to attack Lin Moyu. Its jaws opened wide, ready to unleash a breath attack. Before it could act, the statue attacked. Wave after wave of powerful strikes landed, further injuring the ancestral dragon's body and knocking it down. Though seemingly formidable, the body was now covered in wounds, bones exposed, and blood flowing freely, nearly torn apart. Under the statue's suppression, the ancestral dragon could barely move. Such a good body, it'd be a waste to just destroy it like this, Lin Moyu remarked. Since you swallowed Long Sheng, and his soul is inside you, that's cause and effect. I'll give him a stroke of fortune. With a light laugh, Lin Moyu unleashed the power of immortality, not just pure death, but a blend of life and death, forming immortal power. Death within life, life within death. The immortal power entered the ancestral dragon's body. Death power corroded the curse, while life power healed the flesh. Destruction and renewal. This process was excruciatingly painful. The mutated ancestral dragon's body had changed in many ways, no longer resembling a normal living being. Lin Moyu cleaned out every diseased spot, performing a massive purification. After this, the ancestral dragon's body would be completely renewed, and with Long Sheng's soul, a new group of 10 powerful dragons would be born on the origin continent. Of course, Long Sheng could never become the ancestral dragon again. The new ancestral dragon and dragon god would be Antares. Still, Long Sheng would benefit greatly from this ordeal, becoming far stronger than before. Immortal power could kill or save, its wonders were beyond words. Sensing what was happening, the ancestral dragon's body, driven by the curse, fought back violently, but it was futile. Before Lin Moyu's power of death, the curse was nothing. A gale erupted from Lin Moyu, carrying pure death power and sweeping through the dragon tomb. With Long Sheng found, there was no need to hold back. He quickly cleaned out the inner tomb. There were many mutated Great Dao Realm dragon corpses in the inner tomb, but to Lin Moyu, they were all trash. In just half a day, the inner tomb was cleared. Now both the inner and outer tombs were completely purified. As Lin Moyu had suspected, the ancestral dragon had only encountered an ordinary Great Dao desolate beast, so the pollution wasn't severe, nothing compared to what the Lord of Curses faced. For Lin Moyu, such a curse was easy to resolve. Once out of the tomb, he would purify the curse on the origin continent as well. The only question was how. In any case, it wouldn't be difficult. After 2 sweeps with immortal power, the ancestral dragon's body was completely purified. The spirit flowers were exhausted, and Long Sheng's fully restored soul emerged. The ancestral dragon's body. Long Sheng could hardly believe he now possessed the ancestral dragon's body. Lin Moyu smiled. Trading your own body for the ancestral dragon's is a good deal. It was more than good, it was an incredible windfall. Long Sheng grew excited. Is this really okay? Lin Moyu laughed. Why not? The ancestral dragon is dead, leaving his body to rot would be a waste. Make good use of it. But your soul still isn't strong enough. To fully control this body, you'll need to keep cultivating. By Lin Moyu's estimate, Long Sheng would need to reach the 3rd-tier soul level to perfectly control the ancestral dragon's body. A long journey ahead. Thank you, Elder Lin. I owe you everything, Long Sheng began, but Lin Moyu cut him off. It's nothing. The ancestral dragon brought this on himself, and even brought the curse back to the origin continent. Even if he were alive, he'd probably be punished. Let's go, clan leader Long Wei is waiting. Once I finish here, I'm heading home. Little Mist and the others are waiting for me. This all went pretty smoothly, just a few days' work. Taking Long Sheng back to the dragon clan, Lin Moyu used the world-burning fire to incinerate the dragon tomb. From now on, there would be no dragon tomb in the world. If Antares wanted one, he'd have to build it himself, but Lin Moyu doubted he'd get the chance, as Antares wouldn't remain on the origin continent in his plans. When Long Sheng returned in the ancestral dragon's body, Long Wei was overjoyed. She was deeply attached to Long Sheng, like a daughter to a father. She didn't care whose body it was, as long as Long Sheng was alive. After leaving the dragon clan, Lin Moyu stood above the origin continent, in the heavenly Dao outside. Purify. With a low shout, his voice echoed across the continent. Instantly, a gentle rain fell, and the power of immortality swept over the land. Under immortal power, the sick were healed, the healthy were strengthened, curses were erased, and all injuries big or small were restored. This was a great act of kindness. Lin Moyu couldn't be bothered to treat everyone individually, so he simply cast a continent-wide spell, letting everyone benefit a little. Fortunately, the curse wasn't very strong, so it was easily handled. Lin Moyu's manifestation shocked the entire origin continent and many powerful beings in the heavenly Tao outside. They had seen the curse, but were powerless against it. Most didn't even know what a great Tao desolate beast was, all they could do was hide. For the continent's experts, the years since the origin catastrophe had been lost time. They knew little of what happened in the soul void. Over the centuries, people's memories of Lin Moyu had faded, but now, they remembered him again. That monster is back. He's been gone for centuries. I thought he'd vanished. Truly terrifying. I wonder how strong he is now. He feels stronger than ever. No doubt, a few centuries for him are worth more than tens of thousands for us. All we can do is look up to him. Countless experts discussed Lin Moyu, while he went to see Antares. It's done, Lin Moyu said calmly. Antares grinned, you revealed yourself to the world, why so high profile? Lin Moyu replied, just a warning to certain people to behave, and I didn't want to waste time dealing with them one by one. This was easier, and a good deed. Antares clearly didn't believe him. You, doing a good deed? Lin Moyu ignored him. Enough nonsense. When are you leaving? Antares' eyes narrowed. Are you sure I have to go? You don't have to, but if you die, don't blame me, I can't stop him. Antares sighed, fine, I'll wrap things up and go tomorrow. Lin Moyu nodded. I won't be leaving for a while, so the Dragon Clan will be fine. If my plan succeeds, you can come back, or take the Dragon Clan with you, it's up to you. Now it's just you and the world-sealing Tao Lord left, everyone else is settled. Impatient, Antares said, got it, stop nagging. I'll leave tomorrow, alright. 3990, 3990. Chapter 3990, their fate is better than mine. Antares was somewhat reluctant to leave the Dragon Clan, which is why he hadn't set out to find a suitable world for himself all these years. Of course, Lin Moyu had also said that if Antares truly didn't want to go, they could think of another way. The most important thing was to find the heaven-covering stone and the immortal jade, which would allow Antares to fake his death and truly escape the origin continent's control. After faking his death, Antares would be gravely injured, but this could be healed with spirit flowers. However, once he left the origin continent, Antares' power would be greatly diminished and he would no longer be a Tao Lord. Without a great Tao, his strength would at best be equivalent to the great Tao realm. Whether in the real world or the soul void, this state was dangerous. So occupying a world would be best, as it would allow him to quickly recover his strength and return to his peak. If Antares really didn't want to go, Lin Moyu could help him in other ways, such as letting him enter the Great Thousand World. To Lin Moyu, Antares was different from the three ancestors and others. Antares was a true life and death friend, someone he could open his soul world to. So letting Antares settle in the Great Thousand World was no problem. But the other dragons couldn't. Lin Moyu had discussed this with Antares, so the plan was still to find a suitable world. Ultimately, it would all depend on the outcome. Antares, persuaded, entered the soul void to search for a suitable world. Lin Moyu then left the heavenly Tao and returned to Yudao City. He spent his days with Little Mist and the others, drinking tea, sometimes giving lectures to Hao Daozhen and the others, sharing his cultivation experiences. With the help of powder refined from soul eaters, Little Mist, Hao Daozhen, and the others improved rapidly. In less than a century, they all broke through to the Great Tao realm. At this point, the 8th halo was finally fully lit, right on Lin Moyu's schedule. Next was the 9th halo, which progressed even more slowly, at least 1,000 years. During this century, Lin Moyu continued to comprehend his own Tao. He repeatedly studied the runes on the claw marks of the Red Stone Emperor's true body and gained some insight over the years. These runes were extremely profound, even more advanced than divine runes. On the surface, their structure seemed simpler than divine runes, but a closer look revealed an intricate, nested structure. Some divine runes had similar features, but not nearly as complex as these. The true nature of these runes was more complicated than some formations. Each rune was a formation itself. That's why Lin Moyu couldn't figure them out at first glance. He named them extraterrestrial divine runes. These runes came from beyond the heavens, though Lin Moyu didn't know what that meant, so he used this name for now. Later, he saw similar extraterrestrial divine runes on the Soul Eater, especially when it peered into his memory and manifested the divine summer pagoda. The runes on the pagoda were of this type. Soul Eaters weren't high-level beings and lacked intelligence, yet they could produce extraterrestrial divine runes, suggesting these runes were common outside the world. This led Lin Moyu to believe that extraterrestrial divine runes were not untouchable mysteries. A century of research yielded some results. Though he couldn't fully master extraterrestrial divine runes, he could use what he learned to strengthen his own divine runes. His runes began to change, developing nested structures and becoming more complex and powerful. Formations he set up with these runes also became stronger. In his 3rd century back, Lin Moyu began to reconfigure the 5 elements continent. He spent 100 years upgrading the 5 elements grand array for Little Gold and Little Sword, making them even more powerful. Once, Little Gold and Little Sword could contend with Tao Lords. Now, they could rival Great Tao Lords. Of course, they were still weaker than true Great Tao Lords, limited by the origin continent's rules. The Grand Array had reached the continent's limit. Any stronger would break the world's rules. But Lin Moyu wasn't satisfied. Starting in his 4th century back, he began constructing a new Grand Array. No one knew how powerful it would be. People sometimes saw divine runes flying from Yudao City and vanishing elsewhere, causing a stir and much speculation. No one dared ask Lin Moyu directly. He was now synonymous with invincibility, as feared as the Lord of Hell in his day, the #1 powerhouse of the origin continent. Some formation experts on the Heavenly Tao watched the runes closely but could only understand a little. These runes had been completely transformed by Lin Moyu, blending his own insights and the features of extraterrestrial divine runes. Several top formation masters gathered to study Lin Moyu's work. Even if I don't understand, I can tell these runes are incredibly powerful. Lin Moyu is using the entire origin continent as a formation base. What kind of array is he building? His formation skills far surpass ours, even the formation Tao Lord can't compare. Hard to imagine. Doesn't he fear heavenly punishment? He knows the heavens better than we do. He's been chosen by fate. These masters only dared discuss among themselves, never daring to question Lin Moyu, fearing he'd simply kill them. His dominance was deeply ingrained in everyone's hearts. For centuries, Lin Moyu continued setting up formations, spending time with the girls, talking and laughing. With his supervision, their cultivation progressed even faster. With plenty of Soul Eater powder, after reaching the Great Tao realm, their soul realms kept rising, advancing nearly every 100 years. After 1,000 years, Little Mist and the others reached 1st-tier soul, just a step from innate soul. Lin Moyu stopped them from advancing further. There was no need to become Tao Lords within the origin continent. Hao Daozhen and the others were a bit behind but still reached the 3rd-tier soul of the Great Tao realm. No one could have imagined that the city managers and princesses of Yudao City would change so much in 1,000 years. Lin Moyu often joked that if he'd had such good conditions when cultivating, life would have been much easier. He'd fought his way up through life and death trials, each step risking annihilation. Everyone has their own fate. Little Mist and the others were simply luckier than he was. In the 1208th year after Lin Moyu's return, the 9th halo was finally about to be fully lit, and his centuries of formation work were drawing to a close. 3991, 3991. Chapter 3991, The Origin Sword Lord. At the moment the formation was completed, the entire origin continent, its 5 great continents, east, south, west, north, and center, shook and rumbled simultaneously. In the boundary sea, towering waves surged. For a moment, endless waves rose from the sea like pillars, soaring 10,000 miles into the sky, nearly touching the heavenly Tao before finally crashing down. The boundary sea's water level dropped by countless meters, exposing even some sea beds. As the waves receded, rain fell across the entire continent, the boundary sea's waters sprinkling the land. Amid the thunder, mountains rose from the earth across the 5 continents. The 72 origin swords, which had stood for countless years suppressing the world's spirit veins, now flew up from the ground. These 72 swords, which had suppressed the origin spirit veins for countless years, left the earth together. In the sky, they gathered, and a giant hand appeared in the void, reaching out to grasp all 72 swords at once. But the swords did not submit so easily. Each contained a sword spirit, and the 72 sword spirits united, merging the swords into one. The 72 sword spirits appeared together, fusing into a giant spirit. Its deep voice echoed through the world, "We have suppressed the origin spirit veins. Without the divine continent cauldron, if not for us, the world's spirit veins would have rioted, and the world would have collapsed. Lin Moyu's voice rang out calmly, your mission is complete. Origin Sword Lord, your merit is fulfilled. Today, you may attain the Tao. The sword spirit's expression was complicated. I didn't expect you to know me. Lin Moyu said, after the origin catastrophe, the divine continent cauldron was lost, and the origin spirit veins were about to erupt, threatening to destroy the world. You turned yourself into the 72 origin swords, suppressing the spirit veins. Though not as effective as the cauldron, you kept the continent safe for millions of years, earning boundless merit and fortune. Now your merit is complete, your fortune at its peak, and you can become a Tao Lord. The origin sword lord's expression grew more conflicted. If I attain the Tao, what will become of this world? Lin Moyu replied, this world will be fine. The origin sword lord clearly didn't believe him. How can I trust your words? What if the world collapses? Lin Moyu said, to be blunt, no one in this world understands it better than I do, not even you. Truly, there was no major problem with the world, but there were some issues. Since returning, Lin Moyu had sensed something was off. After destroying the outer world gods and the Black Blood clan, he should have been rewarded by the world, but no such reward came. This meant the world had lost its impartiality. Only the world's will could do this. Though it seemed dormant, it clearly had its own thoughts, perhaps instinctively wary of Lin Moyu, not wanting him to grow stronger, or perhaps Lin Moyu had touched its limits. The origin sword lord still doubted Lin Moyu, but Lin Moyu didn't want to argue further. With a wave, a golden cauldron flew out and hovered in the sky, reflecting the heavenly Tao. The divine continent cauldron. The divine continent cauldron has reappeared. It's in Lin Moyu's hands. When did he get it? Why didn't he take it out earlier? If you want to know, go ask him yourself. Countless people on the heavenly Tao saw the divine continent cauldron, sparking a storm of discussion. The long-lost cauldron's return shocked everyone. The origin sword lord gazed at the cauldron, his emotions in turmoil. At last, he sighed, so you had it all along. When did you get it? Lin Moyu replied, it's been with me since the beginning of my cultivation. Then why didn't you take it out before? The sword lord pressed. Lin Moyu smiled, the time wasn't right. The world was unsettled, your merit unfinished. Now is the time. So now it's time. The sword lord's tone was a bit resentful, as if blaming Lin Moyu. After all, the 72 swords could stabilize the spirit veins, but not as well as the cauldron. If Lin Moyu had revealed it earlier, things might have been different. Lin Moyu said, some things are better left unsaid. You have maintained the spirit veins for so many years, a great service to the continent. Attaining the Tao now is only natural. Let me give you some advice. What is meant to be will come, what is not meant to be cannot be forced. Hearing this, the sword lord's expression grew even more complex. After a moment, he sighed, I understand. Thank you, Mr. Lin, for your guidance. With that, the 72 swords merged into one giant sword and shot toward the heavenly Tao. As Lin Moyu said, with merit and fortune complete, he would now become the sword Tao Lord. Regardless of any private feelings, he had done a great service for the continent. Without him, the spirit veins would have run wild, and the world would not have been so peaceful during the world will's slumber. The divine continent cauldron shone with golden light, radiating divine power, the world's most primal force, older even than the world's will. With it, the spirit veins would not only remain stable, but grow stronger. Lin Moyu looked at the cauldron, which had been with him since the beginning. He smiled, time to go home. The cauldron buzzed, divine power surging, forming the character, no. It didn't want to leave, which made Lin Moyu laugh. It didn't want to return to his soul world. The cauldron had spirit, but not a true artifact spirit. The stronger a treasure is, the harder it is to give birth to an artifact spirit, just like the ancestral dragon. The more powerful, the greater the limitations. This scene astonished everyone watching from the heavenly Tao. All the Tao realm experts knew the divine continent cauldron was a supreme treasure, and the origin continent was its home, but they never expected it to refuse to return, preferring to stay with Lin Moyu. What's in Lin Moyu's soul world that even the divine continent cauldron doesn't want to leave? If you want to know, go look for yourself. Go into Lin Moyu's soul world. You must have a death wish. Many were curious why the cauldron didn't want to leave Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu knew it was because of the world tree. The cauldron loved the world tree and didn't want to leave it. The cauldron buzzed, wanting to fly back, but Lin Moyu wouldn't let it. Like a child throwing a tantrum, it refused to suppress the spirit veins. Whether the continent descended into chaos was none of its business. Lin Moyu coaxed it, I'm only sending you back for a job. Once it's done, you can return to my soul world, okay? The cauldron clearly didn't believe him, the big, no, still flashing. Helpless, Lin Moyu continued to coax it until it finally agreed on the condition that after the job, he'd bring it back. Lin Moyu agreed. After all, he was reluctant to part with such a treasure, but for now, the cauldron was needed. At last, the cauldron returned to its designated place. In Lin Moyu's soul world, a formation's phantom appeared, an incredibly complex and profound array. Using divine runes Lin Moyu had improved and invented himself. It was the most complex formation he'd ever made, taking centuries to complete. The array used the divine continent cauldron as its core, gathering the power of all the origin continent's spirit veins, and this was just the beginning. Lin Moyu had also prepared enough great Tao origin chi for the array, which was a crucial step in his plan to deal with the world's will. 3992, 3992. Chapter 3992, The Unmoving 10th Halo. In the small courtyard, Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes to see the four girls staring at him with wide eyes. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. What's wrong? Little Wu asked curiously. Father, just now we felt a force fall upon us, as if we were connected to the origin continent. Lin Moyu smiled. It's not the origin continent you're connected to, but the formation I set up. Little Mei realized something. Teacher, do you think we might be in danger? Lin Moyu replied, hard to say. Just taking precautions. Don't ask too much, there are things I can't tell you yet. Little Mei nodded and didn't press further, knowing Lin Moyu would explain when the time was right. Little Yu leaned in. Teacher, was that origin sword lord just now the 72 giant swords stuck in the ground? Lin Moyu said, that's right. Back then, the origin sword lord was a top expert, just half a step from the Tao Lord realm. His combat strength surpassed first-tier souls and could rival some powerful Tao lords. After the origin catastrophe, the divine continent cauldron was lost. The origin sword lord transformed himself into the 72 origin swords, suppressing the world's spirit veins so beings could live and cultivate on the continent. Little Yu exclaimed, so he did a great deed. Lin Moyu chuckled, indeed, but he also had his own motives. He probably thought the divine continent cauldron was still in the origin continent, and by becoming the 72 swords, he might get the cauldron. The divine continent cauldron is a supreme treasure that can control the origin spirit veins. If he got it and became a Tao Lord, his combat strength would surpass even the Lord of Hell at that time. Little Wu said, too bad the cauldron wasn't in the origin continent anymore. Lin Moyu smiled. Actually, it was just in a small world he couldn't find. But even without finding it, after so many years of accumulating merit and fortune, he still became a Tao Lord, and a powerful one at that. Little Mist asked, Master, how do you know all this? Lin Moyu laughed. Half of it was told to me, the other half is deduction pretty close to the truth. The origin sword lord's identity was actually revealed by the third ancestor. Years ago, the three ancestors infiltrated the origin continent in pursuit of the Tao Lord position and learned about the origin sword lord's deeds. Since their paths didn't conflict, the third ancestor never mentioned him until one day, it came up by chance. As Lin Moyu chatted with Little Mist and the others, part of his consciousness entered his soul world to observe the Great Gate. After more than 1,000 years, the 9th halo was about to fully light up, allowing the gate to be opened in a high-level state, just like the human sovereign did back then. After talking with the human sovereign, Lin Moyu already knew the 10th halo was extremely hard to light. The human sovereign tried everything and still had to open the gate after 100,000 years, unable to wait any longer. Lin Moyu didn't have that much time and doubted he could light the 10th halo. If not, he'd just have to wait for the next chance. Let it be. 9 halos in a high-level opening will do. He sighed, preparing himself mentally for this outcome. As he waited, the 9th halo blazed to life, illuminating the gate with dazzling light. The gate creaked, its engravings becoming even more exquisite. Standing before the gate, Lin Moyu pressed his hand against it, and through its immense thickness, he seemed to sense the aura beyond a chaotic blend, as if countless treasures were calling out to him, urging him to open the gate and claim them. Lin Moyu knew this was just an illusion. He floated up and took out a key, inserting it into the gate. Then he tried to retrieve another key, but found he couldn't. The key from the Lord of Hell had already been used once to find the gate, which had already cost him an opportunity. Now he had a second chance to use the key. So even if he couldn't light all 10 halos this time, he'd have another chance in the future. Time was tight, he couldn't wait 100,000 years like the human sovereign. In 2 to 3,000 years, the origin continent's world would awaken. By then, he would have to offer up lives to try for eternity again. The human sovereign had said that time flowed differently behind the gate, so he needed to leave enough time to explore that world. He set himself a deadline of 500 years. If he couldn't light the 10th halo by then, he'd open the gate with 9. The 9th halo solidified, and Lin Moyu focused on the final halo. Billions of undead servants drew on the great thousand worlds power and poured it in, but the 10th halo didn't budge, not a flicker of light. All that power vanished without a trace. He tried detonating Great Tao Origin Chi, flooding the halo with pure Tao power, still nothing. Lin Moyu realized the 10th halo was different from the first 9. If the 10th halo doesn't need immense power, then what does it need? He tried faith power, another pure force, but the result was disappointing. The 10th halo remained unmoved. If faith power worked, the human sovereign would have discovered it. It must not be something ordinary. What could it be? He tried the immortality Great Tao unique to him, not found in this world or the Great Thousand World. No effect. He tried the essence of ancestral water. No effect. He drew physical Tao power from the science Tao world and even used technology to charge the halo. No effect. He set up formations, drew down the power of heaven and earth, summoned thunder, even called the wind of annihilation. Still nothing. The 10th halo was like an unbreakable diamond, utterly unmoved no matter what he tried. Lin Moyu felt a headache coming on. He tried everything, but nothing worked. He even considered smashing the first halo with the catastrophic scepter. What could it be? He fell deep into thought. In his life, he'd faced many problems and always found a solution, but this time, he was truly stumped. What could it be? He looked at the world tree. Little tree, what do you think? The world tree appeared, tapped the 10th halo with a branch, and said, I can't tell. My power doesn't work on it either. 3993, 3993. Chapter 3993, The Method to Light the 10th Halo. Little Tree had tried everything. World-burning fire, immortal flames, even the bone hell had burned it repeatedly, but nothing worked. Lin Moyu even had the hell fiend bite at it for a long time, but there was no reaction. Instead, the fiend's teeth broke. Finally, Lin Moyu tried injecting chaotic energy into the halo, but still, nothing happened. After exhausting all options, Lin Moyu was completely stumped. The 10th halo was like an ancient stone in a latrine, stubborn and immovable, no matter what he did. Lin Moyu began to understand what the human sovereign had gone through. The human sovereign must have tried every possible method over the years, even the most unconventional, and still failed. It was normal that Lin Moyu's attempts hadn't worked either. What exactly does the 10th halo require? Lin Moyu was unwilling to give up, but he truly couldn't think of a better way. Suddenly, he had an idea and took out the powder refined from soul eaters, sprinkling it on the halo. The 10th halo, which had never responded before, suddenly trembled slightly. There's a reaction. Lin Moyu felt the vibration and was delighted the soul eater powder actually worked. Is it the powder itself, or something else? He didn't simply assume it was the powder alone, but tried to figure out why. Only by understanding could he hope to light the first halo. Lin Moyu pondered. Soul eaters are formed from the impurities of heaven and earth, essentially the trash of the world, but when pushed to the extreme, trash becomes soul eaters. Soul eaters originate from impurities, yet their essence is extremely simple and pure. This is similar to the souls of great Tao desolate beasts. Both are products of extremes, with the same unique properties. Lin Moyu took out desolate beast essence and pressed it to the 10th halo. The essence melted, flowing into the halo. The halo trembled again, clear feedback, though still far from lighting up. A reaction is good. Lin Moyu finally found the method. The 10th halo requires the power produced by pushing something to its extreme. What's called, when things reach an extreme, they reverse. This power exists, but is extremely hard to touch. The human sovereign had touched it. His destruction Tao could even bring rebirth, a reversal of the Tao's essence. For example, the life Tao normally heals, but taken to the extreme, it becomes a deadly poison, even more potent than the Tao of poison. Lin Moyu continued to study why this reversal power was needed and how it differed from ordinary Tao power. While researching, he casually used immortal power. In the immortal Tao, life and death collide, and when the Tao is pushed to the limit, life turns to death and death to life, completing the reversal. Compared to the human sovereign's destruction Tao, the immortal Tao naturally contains both life and death, making reversal easier. He found that after reversal, both powers retained their original abilities but became even stronger, like the essence of the immortal Tao's life and death powers compressed into a concentrate. He injected this fully reversed immortal power into the halo, and it trembled again. A powerful suction drew all the power in, then the halo returned to normal. With a direction, things became easier. He tried multiple times, using various strengths. Sometimes the halo trembled strongly, sometimes weakly, sometimes not at all. He also tried compressing his Tao power to the limit, making it extremely dense and pure, but the halo didn't react. Compression wasn't the answer. Lin Moyu finally understood. To light the 10th halo requires the power of reversal, yin within yang, yang within yin, a very high-level force that only a great Tao Lord who has mastered their Tao can comprehend. Only by taking a Tao to its absolute limit and fully controlling it can one touch this power. Lin Moyu, however, had realized this early and could manipulate it directly, unlike most, who only grasped it after becoming eternal. When a Tao is reversed, it produces a force opposite in nature, extremely pure and intense, but fleeting and not strong enough. The 10th halo needs this very power. That's why the human sovereign couldn't light it. He was on the wrong path. The hardest part is finding the method. Once found, the rest is solvable. Undead servants couldn't help, only Lin Moyu himself could do it. He tried many times, making the halo react, but his power was too weak. Forcing it would take tens of thousands of years, just like the Lord of Hell lighting the 3rd halo. The method is right, the problem is me. Lin Moyu estimated he'd have to become a great Tao Lord and enter the return to origin land before he'd have enough power and time to light the 10th halo. Looks like I'll have to wait for next time. After thinking it over, Lin Moyu gave up on lighting the 10th halo for now. He'd try again next time. He still had the key and could find the gate again. The first 9 halos were already solved and could be done in just over 1,000 years. Now, the priority was to deal with the immediate crisis. Everything else was ready, only the heaven-covering stone and immortal jade were missing. Once he had those, he could rest easy. With that, Lin Moyu decided to open the gate. His soul approached the gate and tried to push it, but it didn't budge. He added more force, and suddenly his soul warned him of extreme danger. He instantly stopped, chilled to the bone. I can't open the gate in the soul world, or I'll die. Realizing the danger, Lin Moyu trusted his instinct and abandoned the idea of opening the gate in his soul world. But if he opened it in the real world, it might attract the Soul Eater, but he had no choice. If that thing comes, I'll see if I can kill it. Having made up his mind, Lin Moyu explained things to Little Mist and the others, then stepped out and left the origin continent. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Special shout out to Chaosid and Shocks for donating. Thanks a bunch. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. Also, if anyone wants to join my Discord URL. Asterisk 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 3994 3994 Chapter 3994 The 10,000 Wonders Steel. After several months, having left the origin continent far behind, Lin Moyu selected a location to open the gate. For billions of miles around, there was not a single world, just empty space, perfect for withstanding a great battle if needed. The most critical step of his entire plan had arrived. After years of preparation, trying every method to open this gate, venturing even to the Void Kunlun Great Spirit Domain, and facing beings like the Soul Eater, it was finally time. Even with Lin Moyu's steady Tao heart, he felt a surge of excitement. But before opening the gate, there was still some preparation to do. Lin Moyu began to lay down a formation. Using his deep understanding of formations and his modified divine runes, he constructed a killing array. This formation gathered the power of the Great Tao. With Great Tao origin chi at its core, it was the strongest killing array Lin Moyu could currently create. After a month, the formation was complete. He named it the Extinguishing Tao Grand Array. The Extinguishing Tao Grand Array could easily kill a Tao Venerable, even a great Tao Lord entering it would likely perish. In his estimation, only an eternal existence could hope to break through this array. The formation covered a vast area, stretching 1,000,000 miles across, carving out a forbidden zone in the world mist. Standing at the center of the array, Lin Moyu deliberately left a space of 100,000 miles in diameter. He took out the gate, its 9 halos shining and illuminating the entire structure. The gate was engraved with exquisite patterns, though Lin Moyu couldn't decipher their meaning, perhaps they were purely decorative. He reached out, exerted force, and pushed the gate. With a faint grinding sound, the gate opened a crack. Instantly, a terrifying power surged out from behind the gate. Lin Moyu immediately moved aside to avoid the onrushing force. As the gate opened a sliver, a dreadful power howled out, like a beast awakening after countless years of slumber, surveying this world. The space in front of the gate shattered layer by layer, the force breaking space itself. For billions of miles, gales howled, dispersing all the world mist. Lin Moyu saw only void. No wonder it can't be opened in the soul world, he realized. The world mist wasn't just blown away, it was shredded by an invisible, immense force. Had he opened the gate in his soul world, that force would have torn his soul world to pieces. Not only that, but even the great thousand world and the science Tao world would have been affected, and even little tree might have been caught up. He might not die, but it would be a huge problem. That force could even break through the boundary between reality and illusion, descending on the origin continent and destroying it as well. His intuition had been correct. After the gales subsided, a mysterious aura seeped out from behind the gate, spreading far and wide. Lin Moyu had sensed this strange, otherworldly aura even before opening the gate, but now he felt it more clearly. It was similar to what he'd felt when the Kunlun Emperor created a spatial tunnel in the void Kunlun, with the other end leading to the Soul Eater's world. He'd nearly fallen into that world when the tunnel collapsed. The aura was nearly identical, confirming that the space beyond the gate did not belong to this world. The gate was a passage connecting two realms. Once the gate was completely still, Lin Moyu continued to push it open. Light seeped through the crack, filling his vision. Without entering, he couldn't see what was inside. Using considerable strength, he opened the gate to about 3 meters, enough for him, since he wasn't a giant beast and didn't need it wider. The larger the opening, the more power it required, no need to waste energy. Taking a deep breath, Lin Moyu stepped inside, entering the alien space that countless powerful beings throughout history had also entered. As the intense light faded and his vision returned, the first thing he saw was a mountain. Looking closer, he realized it wasn't a mountain, but a stele even taller than a mountain. The stele was covered in densely packed runes, patterns, and characters. Lin Moyu didn't recognize the writing, it wasn't from this world. The runes were similar to those he'd studied for 1,000 years, clearly of the same origin. As for the patterns, they were incomprehensible, just tangled lines, seemingly chaotic but somehow containing profound truths. Lin Moyu focused on the runes, the only thing he could somewhat understand after years of study. He tried to memorize them all, but found that as soon as he recorded one, he'd forget it the next moment. At this moment, the stele buzzed, and 3 large characters he could understand appeared before his eyes. 10,000 Wonders Stele. Lin Moyu was surprised. So this is the 10,000 Wonders Stele. No wonder everyone sees it upon entering. Some people have comprehended secret arts from the 10,000 Wonders Stele, each different. The human sovereign's soul-seizing art came from here. Let's see what I can comprehend. He unleashed his soul power, connecting to the 10,000 Wonders Stele. Instantly, the characters, runes, and patterns on the stele began to glow. The previously incomprehensible text started to shift. Lin Moyu felt he could grasp some of their meaning. Realizing this, he poured in more soul power. His advantage was that, as long as he didn't use too much at once, his soul power was nearly inexhaustible. The world tree continuously replenished his soul power, and as his cultivation increased, the world tree grew stronger, speeding up the recovery. Like his origin secret arts, which once could only be used for seconds, now he could maintain them for long periods. His soul power was rapidly consumed, but the world tree endlessly refilled it, letting Lin Moyu proceed without worry. Countless characters on the 10,000 Wonders Stele lit up, followed by the runes. The runes glowed more slowly, requiring more soul power. The slowest to light up were the patterns. The tangled lines required even more soul power than the characters and runes combined. Lin Moyu realized that even if an eternal being drained all their soul power, they couldn't fully light up the 10,000 wonders steel. Eternals had their Tao in the Return to Origin land, but their soul was only a bit stronger than an ordinary Tao Lord. By Lin Moyu's calculations, the human sovereign could at most light up all the characters, maybe a tenth of the runes, and none of the patterns. The human sovereign probably never mentioned this out of pride. But even lighting up all the characters, the human sovereign had comprehended the soul-seizing art from it. If Lin Moyu could light up all three the characters, runes, and patterns, he might gain an even more profound art. Patiently, he kept pouring in soul power. After half a day, all the runes were lit, and then it was the pattern's turn. At this point, the characters and runes combined, and a secret art appeared before Lin Moyu's eyes. Spirit Control Art, 3995, 3995. Chapter 3995, The Myriad Spirits Secret Art. To his surprise, when the writing and runes combined, a secret art was directly revealed. Spirit Control Art can control the spirits of worlds. The name and function of the art were simple and straightforward, just a few words, with no further details. Lin Moyu knew that to get more information, he would have to choose this art. If he chose it, that would be the end. According to the discernment beast, everyone could only choose one secret art from the myriad marvels steel. Lin Moyu did not choose Spirit Control Art. He mused, if I'm right, the human sovereign only lit up the writing and part of the runes, and obtained the soul-seizing art. Spirit Control Art should be a step further. Soul-seizing art lets you seize the spirit of a world and make it your ally or subordinate, but you can't fully control it. What the world calls the world will, is called the spirit of the world, in the myriad marvels steel, just different names for the same thing. Lin Moyu had learned from the discernment beast about the supreme spirit art and knew that soul-seizing art lets you occupy a world and make its will your ally. But this ally sometimes has its own ideas and doesn't always obey. Though it won't betray you, it just won't always listen. Spirit Control Art goes a step further, allowing you to completely control the world will, making it obey your every command. Spirit Control Art is a step beyond soul-seizing art, but the two should be used together. Seize the world will, then control it. These two arts are a set, and there should be more. Lin Moyu was curious to see if a new secret art would appear after all the patterns were lit. He realized he didn't see soul-seizing art because he already had it. The steel sensed it in his soul, so it didn't show up again. He kept pouring in soul power, now far beyond what a Tao Lord should possess. Lin Moyu doubted anyone else in this world could do this, only he could. After another day, all the patterns lit up. The floating Spirit Control Art changed. Spirit Annihilation Art can destroy the spirit of a world. A new art appeared, Spirit Annihilation Art, for dealing with world spirits. Soul-seizing art and Spirit Control Art are for controlling world wills. Spirit Annihilation Art is for destroying them. This can mean destroying your own controlled world will, or more likely, destroying someone else's. The first two arts are for occupying and controlling, the last for destruction. I feel like this set isn't complete, there should be more. He kept injecting soul power. After the patterns, his power began to flow into the entire steel, which started to glow. Lin Moyu realized that lighting the patterns wasn't the end. The real goal was to light up the entire myriad marvels steel. Based on the rate of soul power consumption and the speed the steel brightened, it would take about 100 times the soul power of an ordinary Tao Lord to fully light it. Only someone like the Kunlun Emperor, who took a half step beyond eternity, could have that kind of power. But once you take that step, you no longer belong in this world. A contradiction. After another day, the steel was finally fully lit. It hummed, radiating endless power. The writing, runes, and patterns seemed to move, weaving together into countless marvelous arts. As Lin Moyu watched, dazzled, the previous Spirit Control Art and Spirit Annihilation Art disappeared, replaced by a new art. Myriad Spirits Secret Art. A smile appeared on Lin Moyu's lips. That's more like it. Just as he thought, soul-seizing art, spirit control art, etc., were all branches of one set, the Myriad Spirits Secret Art. At last, after lighting the entire steel, he obtained the complete Myriad Spirits Secret Art. With a thought, the 4 characters for Myriad Spirits Secret Art entered his mind, sinking into his soul and becoming a true secret art. A flood of information exploded in his soul, which Lin Moyu quickly absorbed and understood. The Myriad Spirits Secret Art is a complete set, containing 5 arts: Spirit Creation Art, Soul-Seizing Art, Spirit Control Art, Spirit Nurturing Art, and Spirit Annihilation Art. The human sovereign only got soul-seizing art, not much by comparison. The 5 arts work together, and only by using them in concert can you unleash their full power. Spirit creation art can create a world spirit. Some worlds lack a world spirit, but with spirit creation art, you can gather the world's power to create one even if there are no living beings. A world with no life but a world spirit can, under the spirit's guidance, evolve and give birth to new life. Combined with spirit control art, you can shape the world, its beings, and its cultivation system however you wish. Soul-seizing art is less powerful. It requires a world already in the spirit birthing stage, and lets you seize control of its will. The world will becomes your ally or subordinate, but you can't fully control it. The myriad spirit's secret art also includes spirit nurturing art, which can nurture the world will, making it stronger and helping it quickly form and even reach eternity. Most importantly, with spirit nurturing art, the world will can attempt eternity without sacrificing the world's living beings. The art stresses that both the world will and the world's living beings are important, and their strength is interdependent. Sacrificing the world's beings for eternity is the lowest method and should not be used. The myriad spirit's secret art calls the world will the world spirit, and the beings within the world are also called spirits. The two are mutually supportive, not a relationship of use and exploitation. Lin Moyu completely agreed with the myriad spirit's secret art. Its creator was a genius, greater than any he'd ever seen. The art's creator had already surpassed eternity. The final and strongest art in the set is Spirit Annihilation art. Spirit Annihilation can be used not only against other world wills, but also to destroy your own. This is necessary because sometimes a world will can betray, become corrupted, or otherwise go wrong and need to be purged. Thus, the art includes a balancing method. 3996, 3996. Chapter 3996. What is freedom? Unexpectedly, Lin Moyu received a great surprise as soon as he entered the gate, putting him in an excellent mood. The myriad spirit's secret art was extremely important to him, especially the spirit annihilation art. The enemy he was about to face was the world will of the origin continent. In terms of combat power, he had already surpassed it. What he truly worried about was that the world will, when cornered, would go berserk and sacrifice all living beings within the world. He had previously set up formations on the origin continent to guard against this, but he wasn't fully confident they would work. Now, with the spirit annihilation art and art specifically targeting world wills, he could kill it as quickly as possible. The faster he killed it, the less likely it would be able to sacrifice living beings. Not just putting it to sleep, but truly killing it, eradicating the root of the problem once and for all. Lin Moyu had made various contingency plans, considered all possibilities, and even had his undead servants use the Tao of Fate to predict the future. The future was variable. The undead predicted tens of thousands of scenarios, all ending with his victory. The results were the same, but the processes differed. In many predictions, the world will of the origin continent managed to sacrifice all living beings by special means. His formation protected some, but only a portion. All those in the heavenly Tao outside died, not one left alive. In some predictions, his formation failed entirely, and everyone except those protected by the heaven-covering stone and immortal jade died. This was not what he wanted, so he prepared as thoroughly as possible. The appearance of the myriad spirit's secret art gave him much greater confidence. Ideally, he could kill the world will instantly, leaving it no chance to retaliate. After absorbing the spirit annihilation art, the myriad marvel's steel gradually dimmed and faded from view. The path beyond the steel appeared before him, a mountain path stretching into the clouds. As he took the first step, a deep voice echoed from the void, resounding across the sky. Comprehend secret arts within the myriad marvel's steel, attain freedom on the path of eternity. The deep voice went straight to his soul, and Lin Moyu instinctively felt deep respect. In his vision, he seemed to see a supreme being standing atop the clouds, speaking to the heavens. His words were like the voice of heaven, telling everyone the goal they should strive for. The myriad marvel's steel contained countless secret arts, but each person could only obtain one. Never be greedy. The human sovereign obtained the soul-seizing art, while Lin Moyu received the myriad spirit's secret art, which included soul-seizing art. Other secret arts belonged to others, they were not his fate. That was the first half of the sentence. As for the path of eternity, Lin Moyu didn't know if it referred to the road before him or the eternal realm itself. The most crucial part was the last two words, freedom, zai. What is freedom? Everyone has their own understanding. To be free, one must first be unbound. Was the human sovereign free? Were those eternals, great Tao lords, or emperors free? Not at all, they were still striving, not free, not at ease. To be truly free, one must reach the very peak, with no one beside or ahead, leaving all others behind. Only then might one attain true freedom. Holding the power of the world, able to do as one wishes, unopposed, unchallenged, able to accomplish anything, ignoring fate, causality, and taboos. One word determines fate, one word severs destiny. This was Lin Moyu's idea of freedom. No matter what others thought, this was his belief. With this in mind, Lin Moyu began to climb the steps. He felt a sense of déjà vu, climbing steps for divine power in a small world, climbing steps on the ferry of calamity, and now again. Different places, different realms, yet the same feeling. Boom! Thunder rumbled overhead. At the top of the steps, clouds swirled, with divine beasts flying and thunder filling the sky. Each step brought a peal of thunder. Lin Moyu sensed the thunder might strike at any moment and was wary, but his soul gave no warning, so he was not in mortal danger. After 100 steps, 2 broad avenues appeared on either side, lined with magnificent palace-like buildings. Lin Moyu paused, tempted to explore, thinking there might be treasures within. But he noticed that atop each building floated rings identical to those outside the gate. There were 10 rings outside, but here only 3. He instantly understood. This was the area accessible for those who opened the gate at the beginner level. If he went there, he couldn't return, and his hard-earned 9 rings would be wasted. The human sovereign had said his 3 visits here were all different, so there was little to compare. At least the human sovereign had never climbed these steps. He saw a different scene. Taking a deep breath, Lin Moyu continued upward. Boom! A green thunderbolt struck Lin Moyu, but he felt nothing. With thousands of great Taos in his great thousand world and billions of undead servants sharing the attack, the thunder was simply ignored. He had expected the thunder, and now it came. After the thunder, a figure appeared in the clouds. Green thunder tempers the body, purple thunder tempers the soul. To attain freedom above eternity. Laughable, lamentable. The long, deep voice was tinged with regret and powerful fighting spirit. Lin Moyu realized this person still had hope for the future, but lamented the present. Such people had unshakable resolve and immense confidence in their own future. Only such people could reach the very peak. Green thunder tempers the body, purple thunder tempers the soul. Lin Moyu didn't need this. His body and soul had both reached the Tao Lord peak and could go no further, or the world would reject him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stopped using Soul Eater powder. Beyond eternity lies the final step. Can one not attain freedom after that? The speaker's words seemed to suggest so. Lin Moyu thought of the green-robed old man, who also seemed busy and scheming, yet had not attained so-called freedom. Is the freedom he speaks of a realm, or a state of being? Lin Moyu pondered as he continued climbing. Thunder roared without end, green and purple bolts falling, tempering body and soul for others, but meaningless to Lin Moyu. He climbed hundreds of steps, reaching the middle, where 2 more avenues appeared, leading to even grander palaces. Above them, 6 rings shone. This was the area for those who opened the gate with 6 rings, not for him. He didn't stop, continuing upward. The thunder grew stronger, green and purple bolts now carrying powerful attacks as well as tempering effects. The figure in the void spoke again. If something cannot be done, don't force it. If fate does not allow, seeking is futile. Step back and gain eternal peace. Step forward and fall into endless ruin. 3997. 3997. Chapter 3997. Listening to the Tao in the Myriad Spirits Pavilion. These words were meant to advise him. Don't force it if you can't withstand it. You should turn back, as the 6-ring area is where you belong. But to Lin Moyu, this advice was useless. He completely ignored it. Having opened the gate with 9 rings, there was no way he would retreat to the 6-ring area. He also understood that, at this point, the thunder was already the limit for ordinary Tao Lords. Even great Tao Lords would need to be careful facing this level of thunder. Only eternal beings could remain completely unharmed. The trial was twofold. Opening the gate was just the first step. There were still tests beyond the gate, and if you couldn't pass, even a perfect gate opening would be useless. At this stage, it was still just a test. He hadn't yet reached the area the human sovereign described, where the treasures were. Suddenly, a fierce wind howled, nearly blowing Lin Moyu off the steps. The force of this wind was like a mighty expert slapping him. Beast roars sounded in his ears, and divine beasts took shape in the air, their cold gazes fixed on him. These beasts were part of the trial, but Lin Moyu ignored them and continued upward. The divine beasts moved, stirring up gales, spitting fire, and shooting arrows of light. All kinds of attacks rained down like a storm. Lin Moyu pressed forward through the barrage, not retreating a single step. He took every attack head-on, realizing that at this level, even the power of the Tao was useless. Of course, climbing the steps was just one form of the trial. The thunder and divine beasts were another. Others who entered might face something different, but the difficulty would not change. By this reckoning, a Tao Lord opening the gate even with 6 rings could only reach the low-level, 3-ring area. A great Tao Lord could reach the 6-ring middle area, and only an Eternal could reach the 9-ring high-level area. Lin Moyu endured the attacks and reached the top of the stairs, where he touched the thunder-filled clouds. The moment he touched the clouds, everything vanished. The steps ended, and before him lay a broad avenue, then a plaza, and beyond that, splendid immortal palaces. Above the palaces, 9 rings hung high. This was the 9-ring high-level area, his destination for this journey. If he had opened the gate with 10 rings, there might have been more road ahead. Yet Lin Moyu had the sense that even if he had opened the gate with 10 rings, his current strength might not have been enough to ascend. The last ring's trial would surely be extremely difficult. This is where the human sovereign released the Soul Eater. I wonder what he did here. Following the path, Lin Moyu entered the plaza. As soon as he entered, his vision blurred, and a gentle breeze swept by. Suddenly, the plaza filled with countless people, all dressed alike, sitting cross-legged with focused gazes fixed on the air above. In midair, a dignified elder also sat cross-legged. The elder's gaze swept over, landing on Lin Moyu. "You're the last one. Hurry and sit down, I'm about to begin the lecture." Someone waved to him. "Junior brother, we were waiting for you. Come sit." Lin Moyu looked down and found he was dressed the same as everyone else. Though puzzled, he quickly walked over and sat beside the person. Just as he was about to speak, the elder in the air barked, "Silence. I'm about to begin the lecture, no talking." Instantly, everyone fell silent, and the plaza became absolutely still. In this situation, Lin Moyu wisely kept quiet. The elder's voice slowly began, immediately delving into profound mysteries. Golden light rained from the sky, and the plaza was awash in radiant colors. Everyone listened, entranced. Lin Moyu was no stranger to giving lectures, but compared to this elder, he realized he was far inferior. The difference was vast. What shocked him most was that the elder was explaining the myriad spirit's secret art. He had just acquired the myriad spirit's secret art and hadn't had time to study it, but now, listening to this lecture, all its mysteries became clear to him. Unconsciously, Lin Moyu became completely absorbed, immersed in the profound depths of the secret art. He didn't know how much time passed before the elder finished. Lin Moyu gradually awakened from the mysteries. The myriad spirit's secret art is extremely complex. To fully master it, or reach perfection, would take at least 10,000 years. This lecture has saved me at least 10,000 years of effort. I wonder if the human sovereign ever had such an opportunity. He slowly opened his eyes to find the plaza empty. No disciples, no elder. It had all vanished. This was a rare stroke of fortune. If he had retreated to the 6-ring middle area, he certainly wouldn't have encountered this opportunity. He walked toward the immortal palaces. They were magnificent, exuding an ethereal aura, and stretched into the distance, disappearing into the clouds. There were so many palaces, it seemed countless people should live there. Yet Lin Moyu felt something was off. These palaces were empty. His undead eye swept over them, but found no soul flames. Yet the earlier lecture made him uneasy. The elder and the disciple had clearly seen him. The strangeness was hard to explain. The closer he got to the palaces, the stronger the sense of unreality became. But Lin Moyu couldn't find the source, which was unsettling. In front of the palaces was a 1,000-meter-wide lake, with a stone bridge leading across. At the bridge's edge stood a 10-meter-tall stele inscribed with 3 characters, Myriad Spirits Pavilion. Lin Moyu shouldn't have recognized these characters, but they were identical to those on the Myriad Marvel's stele. After hearing the elder's lecture, he suddenly understood them. So, this is the Myriad Spirits Pavilion. Is the area beyond the gate the Myriad Spirits Pavilion, or is it just this place? Myriad Spirits Pavilion, Myriad Spirits Secret Art, that lecture, so the secret art originated here. This place was far more mysterious than Lin Moyu could comprehend. No matter how he speculated, he couldn't guess much. With some doubt, he stepped onto the stone bridge, choosing to cross it properly rather than fly over the lake. In such an unknown place, caution was best. Not long after stepping onto the bridge, the lake rippled and a head emerged. It looked part dragon, part tiger, strange yet imposing. Its large eyes stared at Lin Moyu, making him tense. After a few breaths, the head spoke, "You have mastered the Myriad Spirit's secret art. You are qualified to enter the Myriad Spirit's pavilion." With that, the head sank back into the lake and disappeared. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. So, entry to the pavilion requires mastery of the secret art. That means the human sovereign probably never entered here, or went somewhere else. He continued forward, piecing together the cause and effect, and arrived at an answer that was likely correct. 3998. 3998. Chapter 3998, The Dead Worlds. After passing through the gate, every event was conveying a great deal of information. For example, the nameless elder standing atop the clouds lecturing about the Tao, the elder teaching in the plaza, and the giant beast head that had just appeared. Although none of them spoke directly, clues could be found in all of it. By piecing together everything he had seen and sensed, along with his own deductions, Lin Moyu basically understood the sequence of cause and effect. Upon entering the gate, the first thing encountered was the myriad marvel steel, which needed to be lit with soul power. The extent to which one could light the steel, and what could be obtained from it, determined what one would encounter in the world beyond the gate. Even if one opened the gate with 9 halos, if one failed at the steel, there would be no good harvest after. The myriad marvel steel had 3 layers: writing, runes, and patterns. Lighting all the writing and some of the runes would yield different arts. Lin Moyu didn't know what others obtained, but a technique like soul-seizing art surely required lighting all the writing. Furthermore, the steel would grant different arts based on one's needs, soul, and thoughts. Lighting the entire steel and obtaining the complete myriad spirit's secret art was essentially a perfect result. But this was only the first step. Afterward came the true world beyond the gate, with trial after trial determining how far one could ultimately go. These trials also brought rewards, tempering the body and soul, even the Tao heart a second layer of reward. Because Lin Moyu had fully lit the steel and obtained the complete secret art, and smoothly reached his destined place, he received a third reward, listening to the Tao. That one lecture saved him 10,000 years of effort, letting him rapidly master the myriad spirit's secret art. Lin Moyu was sure even the human sovereign never received such a benefit. Yet all of this fundamentally depended on lighting the entire myriad marvel steel. Only then could he enter the myriad spirit's pavilion. The reason it was called the myriad spirit's pavilion was because of the myriad spirit's secret art. If he had comprehended a different secret art, he might have gone to a different place and heard a different Tao. Thinking this through, Lin Moyu imagined a vast world. The steel contained countless secret arts, each with a corresponding area and endless array of regions. If this were a world, it would be far greater and stronger than any ordinary world. But what if the world beyond the gate was not a world, but a sect? At this thought, Lin Moyu felt a chill deep in his soul. If this was a sect, just how powerful must it be? Though it seemed unbelievable, compared to the world theory, Lin Moyu felt the sect theory was more likely. For some reason, he just felt it was so. A sect, with different branches formed by different secret arts, each branch incomparably powerful. As he pondered, Lin Moyu crossed the stone bridge and truly entered the myriad spirit's pavilion. A magnificent immortal palace stood before him. To proceed, he would have to pass through it. In front of the hall were 8 round stone pillars, each carved with exquisite images. This time, Lin Moyu could understand some of them. The images showed orbs, resembling planets in the starry sky. Upon each orb stood a majestic figure, waging war against heaven and earth, unmatched in might, yet on the figure's shoulders stood another person, who controlled the giant, both facing their enemy. Their enemy was a giant beast with a python's head and lion's body, strange in appearance but clearly powerful. Looking at the other pillars, all 8 depicted similar scenes. Members of the myriad spirit's pavilion controlling world wills to fight, their enemies being various giant beasts. These are all world wills. The myriad spirit's pavilion members use world wills to battle, but where do these giant beasts come from, and what level are they? Since these battles were carved on the pillars, it meant such fights were common. In the myriad spirit's secret art, the number of world wills one could control varied. Most people could only cultivate and control one world will. Only a few could manage 2 already considered geniuses. An even smaller number could manage 3 or even 4, true prodigies among prodigies. Lin Moyu didn't know how many he could control, but it surely wouldn't be just one. Entering the Immortal Hall, ancient mist swirled, exuding an aura of antiquity and vastness. It's been a very long time since anyone came here, Lin Moyu sensed, acutely aware of the passage of ages. At least 1 billion years had passed since anyone set foot here. This confirmed his guess. Although the human sovereign obtained the soul-seizing art, he never qualified to enter the myriad spirits pavilion, let alone reach this place. As Lin Moyu entered, the mist in the hall shifted and gradually dissipated. Hundreds of head-sized orbs appeared, floating above the hall, moving in a seemingly random yet orderly fashion. These orbs emitted a strange aura. They were not artifacts, but worlds. Lin Moyu was shocked. These are all dead worlds. He could instantly tell these were all dead worlds. He'd seen similar dead worlds in the origin ancestral land, there was little difference. 100 dead worlds meant 100 top experts had died, along with countless beings within those worlds. Lin Moyu acted, waving his hand. He summoned the Great Thousand World. Opening a passage, he absorbed all these dead worlds into it. A dead world was not necessarily beyond revival. The Boundary Sea world was the best example. By taking these dead worlds and nurturing them within the Great Thousand World, they might recover vitality. It was a win-win, helping these worlds and giving his own Great Thousand World new resources. The Great Thousand World could independently evolve new small worlds, but that was slow. This shortcut saved much time. As Lin Moyu finished collecting the worlds, a buzzing sounded in the hall. A figure appeared on the throne, his features indistinct but his aura commanding respect. At the same time, 100 people appeared in the hall, standing together in a small formation like an army awaiting the general's command. The person on the throne spoke. Today, my star spirit hall goes to battle. We fight to the death. Any who retreat will lose their cultivation, have their souls destroyed, and fall into eternal damnation. The voice was not loud, but inspired awe. The 100 in the hall shouted in unison. At the hall master's command, we fight to the death. The next second, all of them flew from the hall. Powerful auras surged from outside. Lin Moyu hurried to the doorway and saw them soar into the void, each summoning their own world, with world wills manifesting. They stood atop their world wills, transforming into streams of light and charging forth. 3999, 3999. Chapter 3999, 10 million cultivators all perished in battle. Watching this scene, Lin Moyu felt a surge of emotion. Once, there had been 100 top experts here, leading their world wills into battle. When they returned, all that was left were the ruined, dead worlds. The cultivators themselves never came back. When did this battle happen? Lin Moyu could faintly sense that all these world wills had reached the eternal level, with unmatched combat power. For them to all die together like this, how powerful must those giant beasts they fought have been? Most crucially, was this battle part of this world, or did it belong to another? That remained a mystery. There was too little information to be gleaned here. Lin Moyu looked around the Star Spirit Hall once more, and when he found nothing new, he exited from the back and headed to other areas. The Star Spirit Hall was the main hall of the Myriad Spirits Pavilion, and behind it were 4 roads, each leading to a different region. In front of the roads stood a stone sign, its writing still clear despite countless ages. From left to right, the 4 roads were Spirit Nurturing Road, Spirit Cultivating Road, Spirit Treasure Road, and Spirit Battle Road. Lin Moyu analyzed the names and could roughly guess the function of each area. Just as he was about to proceed, the sign glowed faintly and a middle-aged man appeared from the light. The sign was a magical artifact with a spirit, which surprised Lin Moyu. Who would have thought, after so many years, someone would come here again, the artifact spirit said with a sigh, tinged with emotion. Although artifact spirits are not limited by lifespan and can live as long as their artifact remains intact, time leaves little mark on them. Yet this spirit, Old Road, bore a sense of age and weariness, evidence that more time had passed here than Lin Moyu had imagined. Lin Moyu greeted him politely. Lin Moyu greets Senior. No matter the other's strength, he showed due respect, especially since Old Road took human form. Old Road looked Lin Moyu over and smiled. Youth is a fine thing. No need to call me Senior, everyone here just calls me Old Road. Lin Moyu asked, Senior Old Road, what exactly is this place? Old Road replied with a strange look, this is the Myriad Spirits Pavilion. Didn't you see the big characters on the stone stele by the bridge? Lin Moyu clarified, I know this is the Myriad Spirits Pavilion, but what kind of place is it? Old Road seemed even more puzzled. The Myriad Spirits Pavilion is the Myriad Spirits Pavilion. What else could it be? Whether he truly didn't know or was simply old and forgetful, Lin Moyu couldn't tell. Changing the topic, Lin Moyu asked, Senior Old Road, do you know where all the people here went? Old Road sighed, all dead. They all died in battle. The Myriad Spirits Pavilion had 16,720,000 cultivators, none survived. Lin Moyu was shocked over 16 million cultivators. No wonder there were so many immortal palaces, they had to house so many people. He quickly asked, what were their cultivation levels? Old Road looked at Lin Moyu and slowly explained, the cultivators of the Myriad Spirits Pavilion were divided into 4 levels. The weakest, the outer pavilion disciples, were about your level. The inner pavilion disciples were a bit stronger, the hall masters stronger still, and the pavilion master was a supreme being. Lin Moyu chatted with Old Road for a while, asking about cultivation realms. Old Road's knowledge was limited, he was just a sign spirit, but one thing was clear. As a Tao Lord, Lin Moyu was equivalent to the weakest outer pavilion disciple, who were also the most numerous. Inner pavilion disciples were likely eternal beings. Hall masters had likely taken the final step, or at least a half step, and the pavilion master was an existence beyond supreme, one who had fully taken that last step. People say eternal beings cannot die, and those beyond eternity even less so, but Lin Moyu saw otherwise. Even eternal beings are not truly detached, they still depend on the world. Eternity means only that one cannot die within the world, but if the world itself collapses, even eternals die. Not only eternals, even those who have taken the final step, like the pavilion master, would perish. Thinking of what the figure on the steps had said, who can truly attain freedom? Lin Moyu asked, Old Road, what are the purposes of those 4 roads? As the artifact spirit of the sign, Old Road was very familiar with this. He replied, the spirit nurturing road leads to the worlds of the heavens. Disciples allowed to enter can choose a world to nurture its spirit. The spirit cultivating road is for cultivating world spirits, disciples can nurture their world spirits there, and the pavilion master set up some wondrous arrangements there for greater efficiency. The spirit treasure road is the pavilion's treasure vault, full of useful items for nurturing world spirits, but only approved disciples can enter. The spirit battle road is where disciples practice and learn to command world spirits in battle. Each road led to a different area. After becoming a disciple, one would first choose a world to nurture its spirit. This was not easy, as it meant taking control of a world, which often led to conflict. Some chose powerful worlds, which meant fighting strong beings for control, others chose weaker worlds, but those spirits would be weaker and limited in growth. The spirit cultivating road was for those who already had a world spirit, to nurture it further. The spirit treasure road was the treasure house, containing treasures for nurturing world spirits and other items. The spirit battle road was the place for training in duels. Lin Moyu made up his mind. I want to go to the spirit treasure road. Is there anything I should watch out for? Old Road replied, not really. The spirit nurturing road has long been abandoned, I don't know what it's like now. The spirit cultivating road hasn't been used in ages. The pavilion master's arrangements may no longer work, as there are no hall masters to maintain them. The spirit treasure road used to have restrictions, only the approved could enter, but now those are gone. As for the spirit battle road, it may be dangerous. I remember something escaped from there 10 or 20 million years ago. 4000. Chapter 4000. If you can't push it open, then smash it. Old Road had lived for so long that he no longer bothered to keep track of time. Whether it was millions or tens of millions of years, it made no difference to him. But when Lin Moyu heard this, he realized that the being that escaped back then was likely the intelligent Soul Eater. The Soul Eater had escaped from the Myriad Spirits Pavilion, fought the human sovereign, and the human sovereign suffered for it. After that, the human sovereign left, and the Soul Eater must have wandered the world behind the gate until the Lord of Hell opened the gate again, allowing the Soul Eater to finally escape into the real world. Now, it seemed the Soul Eater intended to return, though Lin Moyu didn't know why. Old Road asked, where are you planning to go? Lin Moyu replied, I want to go to the Spirit Treasure Road. Old Road nodded. At the end of Spirit Treasure Road is the Myriad Spirits Pavilion's treasure vault. The old restrictions are probably gone, but you should still be careful. Lin Moyu asked, do you know what's in the treasure vault? Old Road shook his head. I'm not sure about that. Lin Moyu didn't press further and looked at the many immortal palaces in the distance. How do you get to those palaces? Old Road glanced at the sky. Fly, there used to be roads up there, but they've all collapsed. If you want to go, just fly over. The palaces were the residences of the pavilion's cultivators. They look grand, but they're all pretty much the same, not much to see. But Lin Moyu thought otherwise. In a cultivator's residence, there were often valuable items left behind, things not carried away, especially since many never returned. After finishing with the Spirit Treasure Road and the Treasure Vault, he planned to check out the palaces as well. Bidding farewell to Old Road, Lin Moyu entered the Spirit Treasure Road. Mist rolled in behind him, and the sign with Old Road's spirit quickly vanished. Ahead, the mist cleared to reveal a broad avenue, ending in a giant immortal palace. Compared to the other palaces, this one was more noble and imposing. Just this palace alone is an incredible treasure, Lin Moyu thought. The palace at the end of the Spirit Treasure Road was itself a powerful artifact. The road's sides should have been lined with formations, but most were now ruined, leaving only faint traces. Lin Moyu found this odd. So much time had passed, but formations at this level were supposed to be eternal, barely touched by the years. The great battle hadn't reached here, but the remaining formations looked like they'd been through a war. When he reached the end and saw the palace up close, he noticed it was badly damaged, evidence that it had seen battle. The palace glowed faintly, and for a moment, Lin Moyu seemed to see a scene from the past. A powerful figure grabbing the palace, soaring into the sky, the formations along Spirit Treasure Road turning into a rainbow as they charged upward. But the figure never returned, only the damaged palace did, its formations shattered. Although the myriad spirits pavilion hadn't been ravaged by war, this palace had clearly participated in battle. In front of the palace stood a stone stele bearing its name, Spirit Treasure Hall. There was also a line, "No entry without permission. Violators bear the consequences." That was the old rule, now meaningless. In the past, the pavilion had managers and powerful formations for protection, now, nothing remained. Standing before the Spirit Treasure Hall, Lin Moyu pressed his hand to the door and pushed. The door didn't budge. He pushed harder, still nothing. He summoned thousands of undead servants to help, but the door remained unmoved. With the palace damaged and unmanned, the door should have opened, but it was sealed tight. Lin Moyu flew around the palace, searching for a way in through the damage, but though there were many cracks, none allowed entry. He didn't attack the palace, unsure if that would trigger a bad outcome. In such a mysterious place, caution was best. Returning to the front, he took out the catastrophic scepter. If I can't push it open, I'll just smash it. Using the scepter wouldn't make much noise, better than using spells. Confident, Lin Moyu swung the catastrophic scepter at the door. With a metallic clang, cracks appeared. It works. He struck again, and the cracks grew. After 5 blows, the door finally shattered, leaving a hole over 5 meters high and 3 meters wide. A powerful aura surged from within, and Lin Moyu's eyes lit up. There were still things left inside. Just from the aura, he could tell many treasures remained. Entering, he found the hall spacious and simply arranged, with no inner or outer sections. In the center lay a pile of fragments, the core of the artifact, now completely destroyed. The hall's formations were also ruined, barely functional after so many years. These were records of the past, but as an outsider, Lin Moyu wasn't too concerned with what had happened. Scanning the hall, he saw many boxes scattered about. Most were broken and empty, but a few remained intact. There were also many treasure bottles on the floor and in wall niches, but most were toppled and empty as well. Lin Moyu guessed the contents had been consumed during the Great Battle. Then he noticed something unusual in the pile of broken fragments, a relatively intact jade token hidden among the core shards. If he hadn't been sharp-eyed, he would have missed it. Reaching for it, he suddenly drew his hand back as several deep cuts appeared on his fingers, down to the bone. No blood flowed, his life force began to heal the wounds. But not only his body, his soul was also injured. My spells aren't working, Lin Moyu realized in shock. Even his great thousand-world and undead servants couldn't share the damage. After thinking it through, he understood why. These shards were the core of the Spirit Treasure Hall, once infused with the power of a supreme expert. Even as fragments, that power remained. The power could bypass body and soul, striking directly at the true spirit. The physical wounds were just a surface effect. The real injury was to his true spirit, which was why his spells couldn't help. A power that attacks the true spirit directly, what a terrifying existence.